No, she's not here today. Hi, Stephanie, can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, you're a little quiet.
Okay, I'll talk. Is this any better?
Yeah, that's better.
Okay, I'll just project a little bit.
Okay. And we're not quite started yet. They're getting their dinner and stuff.
Perfect.
Did you get more recent? No. Literally. What should you do? I think that's it's something I would never make. I never write that. That's what I usually do. Yeah. Never. Maybe something that you want to add a that from so, but many of you were worried. I have one. You never know, right? I do. Thank you. Previous one. Oh, I think I'm good. Do you want to have it's time for goal 2? You could just log in. Oh, wait. There. All right. Okay. We got very spoiled today. Yeah, they do. But wait, there's more. Yeah. All right. We're gonna go ahead and start the working session. And we'll start with the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, first on your agenda tonight is we're going to get reports out on the strategic plan. So we'll start with goal 1. If we could have Sarah and Creighton come up. And do you guys want the clicker to be in charge of yourselves?
Appreciation. As always, a fan favorite, these are from your local preschool students. So. Okay, so goal 1, I'll speak to the first and the second components of it, and then Sarah will speak to the third one. That's kind of the rhythm that we've had over the last several presentations for goal 1. But this is our goal kind of with respect to social emotional learning. It's pretty broad umbrella when we're talking about social emotional learning, because it's going to branch out into a number of things that are not necessarily like an SEL curriculum type thing, but it's just kind of the general mental health student body and how they perceive things of that nature. And so our first performance indicator was to provide professional development on trauma-informed care and practices. As we reported out in November, that was accomplished. The author of Fostering Resilient Learners She's co-authored several of them, but Kristen, she did a personalized recorded professional development. The overwhelming majority of licensed and classified staff were able to watch it. They completed that exit ticket, most of them in groups of 2s or 3s. And then part of the package that we paid for Kristen was that at some point during the second semester, and it has not been scheduled yet, but we'll schedule a time where she will kind of do a live Zoom with certain staff, or it probably wouldn't be very effective if it was district wide, but whether it's just counselors or certain teams, or perhaps just K through 2 or something like that, where she will just do another hour, but just kind of live with a small group to just kind of be able to bounce ideas off of okay, we watched the training, that kind of stuff, but we've got some real specific questions. And so we'll follow up with that sometime in the spring, but this was successful. Yeah.
What was your biggest takeaway from her?
I think for me, at least, the biggest takeaway was kind of this point that she really kind of leaned in on, that the behavior that you're seeing, regardless of if it's a 6-year-old kindergartner or an 18-year-old senior, that it's not happening to you, it's happening in front of you. Or it's happening in your space. And so I think, what Sarah just said was like, what you really lean in on is like 99% of the time, it's not personal, but our human nature is to take it personally. Like, you're in my class, it's my time to teach science, and you're bothering that time. And so I'm going to take that personally. And for them, that's not the calculus there. And so my biggest takeaway was just, kind of helping reinforce that point, that the more that we lean into it with an empathetic perspective and pull our personal selves out of that moment, the more likely that we're able to approach that child, regardless of their age, with, the right perspective.
And also, I think what takeaway is that behavior, I think it reinforced a lot of what we know. Another one of them being is behavior is communication. So this is communicating something to us. And so we're trying to get to the root of what you're upset about or what's causing this. And so I think it puts you in a more problem-solving brain than a reactive brain. And I think she also spoke about that, like problem-solving versus reacting. And that probably is in alignment with, this isn't personal. This is happening in front of you, not to you. So I think there was several dendrites of communications, I feel like, that teachers were able to listen and maybe think of that one student in their classroom or a few students that they have. I mean, I even, as I was watching it, recollected on my teaching career and thought of those students where I was like, yeah, that's true. So I think there was just a lot of ways to connect where teachers could, put themselves in a position to have a different frame, a different lens to see the problem.
Sounds like really benefited from that. That was really good.
Yeah, it's neat. I mean, I connected with her years ago over some other professional development stuff, and she's great to contact with and partner with and stuff like that. So she's been a good contact for us. Our second one is just kind of this measurement, and I put that with an asterisk in quotations and italicized because that's a difficult thing to do, but the measurement of this sense of belongingness among our students in their different schools. It's a really difficult thing to measure because, again, as we talked about before, the sense of belongingness is going to be unique to an individual, and what they feel like, how they feel like they belong could be two totally different, almost mutually exclusive ways for two different kids. And so how do you create one system, or a large system that matches all of those needs? And in some respects you can meet a lot of those needs. In some respects it's difficult to meet all of them, but like the analogy that I've used before with like graduation rates, like you would never say that our 94% is an acceptable graduation rate, so that's going to be our goal. Like, what about the other 6%? Like, getting to 100% may be very difficult, but you're not going to set a goal lower than that. So I think we recognize that belongingness is important, and we got to figure that out. So we tried to measure it in certain different ways. At the high school, the counselors worked both in person, but they also sent out surveys to high school staff and students and tried to measure how they felt like they belonged. Actually, our high school and our middle school staff, or our high school and our middle school students came back with pretty similar numbers across the board. Somewhere around 85%, give or take, said that yes, or most of the time, sometimes I feel like I belong. And then somewhere around 15 to 20% said that no, I don't really feel like I belong that much. And that, you know, on one hand, like you can look at that through a variety of different lenses. And I think that it is, once you get to that middle school and that high school and you start getting all of the different social dynamics and the hormones and the different directions that young adults want to go, like, yeah, it's hard to develop a system where they do feel like they belong. But at the same time, and I think that, you know, Tony at the middle school and Dusty at the high school will admit as freely as I will that, like, building a community of belongingness is incredibly important to almost everything else that we are attempting to do. Because if somebody doesn't feel like they belong, whether it's a student or a staff member or whomever else, like, they're going to struggle to bring their best selves for everything else. And so, you know, the numbers at the middle school and the high school, which are relatively reflective of the same, I think say that for 3 out of 4 students, they really feel like they belong. And that's a good thing. But there's a measurable population of students that still kind of question their sense of belonging. And that probably correlates loosely, but in some way, to how their performance is in certain ways, and we measure academics in other ways. And so something that we're aware of, but obviously response to that, they feel welcomed. Friends are happy to see me, my teachers, everyone's respectful, I can get along with others, support, etc. Here's your middle school. So again, 60% said yes, about 33% said sometimes middle school looking a little bit better here in terms of, yeah, like, you know, you're looking at 10% or less that are like, I don't know. And again, like, you get a lot of our inter-district transfers or students that are new to the district. A lot of them will hit us at the middle school. And so they're brand new, they're new to the system. So stuff that's expected, but the work is not done. And then, yeah.
Remind me, how long was that data? When were you getting that data from? How long ago?
So, I mean, this was just measured by this year.
So this year?
Yeah.
So a year that they're not using social media and things like that in the school because they don't have their phones.
Correct. Yeah.
So as the year, maybe that number will get smaller. Maybe?
I would agree. Yeah. And I think if we had longitudinal data to look at like youth truth and stuff like that in previous years, and then look at it this year and in the future years, and if it was asking specific questions, there probably is a way to measure
because
that in
middle
a way.
school's been doing a little bit longer.
Yeah. Yeah. So absolutely. And then at the elementary school, surveys to students aren't going to really reflect the same kind of data you're looking for in that way. And so there's a lot of other things that are going on, and I'm going to be pressed for time, so I won't read this email, but Jerry Jimenez sent me an email of all the things that they're kind of doing with like new student interviews and a lot of the stuff that Dusty and Sarah's put in place that Sarah's continuing with and the counseling team's running with. And our elementary school, I think, you know, and I will say, you know, since Dusty took over the elementary school, like the sense of belonging is absolutely outstanding. And so I think that's been a focus of Dusty's work and then Dusty and Sarah's work. And, you know, for all of the strengths that they have brought, and especially Dusty, like that, owning a sense of belongingness for your community, your school, your classroom, like it's second to none among people I've worked with. So I think it's terrific. And then we'll get to Sarah.
Yeah. So I'm speaking to the initiatives that kind of promote belonging. So when I think about, and then also talking about one large focus that Dusty and I have been working on, and I, in my role, really focused on was attendance and, you know, reducing that chronic absenteeism. And so teachers have come up with some really amazing strategies. One of them being this ticket idea where if you've been in school every day, Monday through Friday, you get to put a ticket in a little bucket at the end of the week. And Charlene draws so many names at the end of the week. So you might, you know, win a little prize. We do assemblies for recognizing 100% attenders. And then if you're not 100% attenders, but you've really done a great job of improving your attendance, there's things like popcorn and gift cards. And apparently maybe this was Dusty's agreement, and I think I'm stepping into it and take the principal to the wall.
It'll be easier now.
Yeah, well, maybe.
We did a lot of work, giving like a lot less tape.
Yeah, so this idea that I guess at the end of the year, you get one piece of tape if you have 90% or above attendance all year long, and 100% you get 2 pieces of tape. So I just read about that actually as I was looking. Dusty agreed to this, and yeah, that's right. Which is great. I'll do it.
Might be a guest appearance again. Who knows?
It'd be fun. It'd be fun. But just trying to really incentivize kids to, to come to school and to, a lot of it this morning, I had the distinct pleasure of calling Dusty because I'm like on Ivy and I'm like, where does this family live, Dusty? And because I know Dusty's also trying to go find a home. So we're in a little bit of a wild goose chase because what we had is the address. And I was like, gosh, I remember Dusty going someplace else. So I'm like going around town and I finally find where this kid lives and I knock on the door and he's there with an older cousin. The brother's there. The brother's ready to go to school, but the little kindergartner, he is kicking and screaming and crying. So we get dad on the phone and I'm like, it's going to be a hard pattern to break, but we can do this. And it's going to be hard in the beginning. And we just need to get his shoes on him and get him to school. And so, off we go to school. But this whole idea of parent communication is another really, huge component of helping parents understand just the importance of their kids coming to school each and every day on time. And sometimes that takes you showing up at their door and knocking on it and standing there and saying, I'll wait until he gets his backpack on and brushes his teeth and gets his shoes on. And we did that this morning. So that kind of goes along with this whole idea of a foot bus just kind of going around town in the mornings when I know certain kids are gone, like kind of the big names where I'm like, is so-and-so here today? And then I'm like, oh, no, and I'm headed out. We also, WESD a couple months ago, using Oregon Data Suite, the way it's organized is really great with colors and kind of it shows you charts and it makes it really easy for teachers to also keep track of it. And so we did a staff meeting where, Dusty and I said, we can handle these kids that are in the red, these 17 families that are 10 families or 10 kids. But the kids that are in the orange could really use your support. So, because it's just a couple of kids per class that are in this orange area. So if you could really help us with that once a week, messaging families, calling families, really leaning in on your couple students that are in your class. I feel like I might be nearing time, Dandy. So cut me off if I'm done. Anyway, and then also family nights, AKA we have a family board game night happening at the elementary school tonight. So if you had trouble parking, that's maybe why. And that's a good thing. So if you had trouble parking, apologies, but it's actually a really good thing. And then also getting connected with ThrillShare, messaging out to families, newsletters and just Facebook, anything that we can do to help really bring the community into the school and help them see all the great work that's happening in the school. And then the idea that I listened to a podcast and it talked about habits and the importance of habits. Atomic Habits is, I can't remember the author, but I actually bought the book because I was like, gosh, this sounds so awesome. And it's just talking about the importance of systems and habits and routines. And so I just wanted to speak to some of those that we have at the elementary school, which is the bi-monthly BST meetings that we've all kind of talked about before, and our school-based, team-based meetings that we have on those off months. And then we meet quite often to talk as a school-based team, Jerry and Julie and myself, and then of course Dusty when he was there. And then weekly administrative meetings, we were sitting down once a week and looking at Oregon Data Suite to look at, where we were at it with attendance. And we talked about, okay, where are we at? And literally, what are the next steps? So I would go in my office and I would email parents, I'd have a list of parents that would say, well, this is just parent contact. This is a home visit. And really pinpointing exactly coming out of that meeting, exactly what our next steps were, what the action and next steps were. And we found some really great success with that. And I know that because I was at a WESD attendance workshop and we were highlighted, Jervis Elementary specifically, for the months of October to November. We had improved our attendance by like 19% from last year to this year. It was really great to see. They highlighted us out of all the areas, and I shared it with Dandy. And then just weekly care team. We do care team on Mondays, and that has Cindy and Stephanie and myself, and then the teacher and Eliana So this team that gets together and really looks at academic concerns. If there's academic concerns with the kiddos, we sit down and we look at their math and their reading, and we talk about what are the next steps in supporting them academically. So we have this like complete whole school district kind of, I guess, system or check-in that happens where we're looking at all the different pieces of a student.
Okay.
Yeah.
If we had more time, I would describe how that kindergartner I fireman carried him to school. No, I just kidding. Okay. But yeah, like,
Thank you. Okay, we have goal 2. Goal 3. There you go. You're so welcome.
So we have some students coming to present some awesome project they did to say thank you, but I will be the first to say thank you so much and report appreciation.
Thank you.
Just talking about the Access team and a lot of the work here, and just again, it's all about celebrating the diversity, creating very inclusive and accessible, not just buildings, but systems, activities, really at every level. And so walking through just quickly some of the goals. So the first goal was really about this greater sense of we are Jervis. And we wanted to, last year was really at the kind of the school level. We wanted to kind of roll this out more into the community. There's really a sense of like greater community pride. There's been a lot of, I think, for lack of a better word, toxicity, and a lot of kind of like the engagement, especially online. And so just this idea of like really developing a sense of pride in our community. And so one way we wanted to do this was with community videos. We really pushed a lot of the student videos. And hopefully you've seen these. We had Mr. Reese and then the Selfields. And it just was really amazing to see kind of reminiscing about their experience. And then also kind of like, and then their children's experience in the school. And just, I think this great sense of pride in what the community meant to them, but then also to their families. You know, and so it was really neat to share these videos. And hopefully what we're trying to work towards is having kind of this whole library of student voices and community voices. And then we're going to get into staff voices as well. And we'd love to be able to, in the community, when we walk into like a Dollar General or something like that, like you can walk in and there's that poster, the QR code, you can access those voices. So we'd love to, as we build this library, just to find more platforms to share these out. And so that was the first project. And Angie is going to be the next voice that we're recording. And again, just trying to get these out as best we can. But just again, really creating this sense of we are Jervis. The next one is really about how we can serve our community with regards to resources. I think there's tremendous work that's happening. We have across all the buildings, pretty amazing team that are going, I think, above and beyond to really connect students and families with the resources they need. Making sure that they're getting everything from beds and washers and dryers and clothes and backpacks and connecting them with nonprofits and the resources they need. What we really wanted to do was to really create a really good guide, and not just a digital and print guide, but one that really it's the come alongside, I think, is the most important part. So not just a hand, just say, well, there's a booklet, you know, and like good luck finding it, but here's the booklet. Let's call right now. Let's connect with this resource. You know, and so that's kind of the real vision here. This has been the part, I'll be candid, of all the work that we're doing, this has been the slowest, and I'm going to own that. Just in the busyness of it, a lot of this has landed on me. And so here about a week ago, I sent out the help email during this. We've got all of the resources there. Like we pulled from probably 7 different guides. We pulled from a pretty large area, but then was going through and vetting every single resource, because sometimes you get to like, actually that food pantry is not operating anymore, or we need to update this information. So we didn't want to throw out information that wasn't relevant, or they didn't have the capacity to serve our community. There's no point sending you somewhere when really they're not going to get to you. And so we've been going through and vetting, and it's a whole host of probably 11 different categories of supports. And so I think it's gonna be really amazing. And then from here, Kelly Bledsoe is gonna really make this in a beautiful format, so far as getting this onto our website, getting this into print, you know, and then again, really it's most important is what our staff are getting this into the hands of families and helping them along that way. So this is the project that we're still working on. Really proud of what this is gonna be, but it's just taking a little bit longer. We hope to get it out in November and then December, and is it January? I like to tell my wife I'm just a schmuck. But anyway, the team's working on this, and it's gonna be great work. We're gonna be really proud of when this gets out. And then the last one, and I think this is probably the most meaningful one. Yeah.
What were the other categories that you had?
Yeah. So we have transportation and housing and food. We have like mental health services. We have some medical. We have legal. We have. Then we have food banks in there. I mean, it's a pretty extensive.
Yeah, it sounds like it.
list.
Okay,
Yeah.
it looked like it was 6 pages or something around there. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome. And really in each of these, it's a hard wrestle. Do you give them the top 3, or is it like, hey, the 3 and the 4 or 5 other great resources, and we're opting to go a little more extensive, but we're going to prioritize and be able to say, hey, look, these are really the best resources in this area. But if for whatever reason they feel tapped, like here's a whole list of other organizations.
Yeah,
like
as well. On that food one, there's one in Woodburn, right?
Yep. So if you scroll down, there's a Ware Food Bank, there's a church that feeds every week. So right now we're not necessarily like all the way ordered.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we've tried to we've used every database, and I've got onto every school district website and every city website. Like we're trying to be really thorough just to bring all the resources together. Now, all we're needing now, it's the cleaning up part of it.
Yeah.
And so just
No, that's great.
really want this to be a helpful thing for families. And we made it really clear this was not a school district. Again, our vision is we are Jervis. This is a community resource. And we've been having here about assisted living resources and like lonely elder groups that support there. And so we really want this to be like something the community can use and not just the school district. So that's kind of the vision there. And so something working on there. And then just gonna echo a lot of what Sarah was just sharing about this connecting with families, in particular, messaging families when students are absent. The research shows like the number one intervention in a child's life is a caring adult who knows and sees them and is going to go above and beyond to really intervene on their behalf. And by and large, that classroom teacher is on the front lines of that. And so I think that at certain levels, it gets harder. I would say that the elementary school is modeling a pretty amazing way this looks like. And this is the classroom teacher who's messaging that student, through our shared rooms and say, hey, don't see they, are you okay? Anything we can do to help, but connecting at that human level. And this is, I think, brought tremendous returns. So this is when Sarah has those weekly attendance meetings, and it's identifying, can she account for every single student who's gone? And that's really what it is. And it's like, okay, this kid's been gone for 1 day. That's a classroom teacher. Hey, classroom teacher, can you immediately message if you haven't already this to this family? Well, okay, wow, we're at 2 days now. Okay, we need to get on that phone immediately with that family. Okay, we're actually at 4 days. We're going to show up at that door. And so that's a lot of the work that Sarah's doing. And I think this is what's going to make the biggest difference, is the connecting. Getting high school teachers to kind of buy into this. I think that's the really next piece. And so
just today when Marie and I were walking, Sarah would tell you. And I was like, yes, that's what we want to do to reach our families. So good job.
Yeah. We just had a lot of conversations at the high school, and really I think where this makes sense at the high school is in the advisory. To own those 20 kids, those are your kids, and they're your kids for 4 years. And so go above and beyond when that kid's not there, that you're reaching out, and for that kid to know I was missed. And so it's easy for high school teachers to say, oh, I have so many kids, and then to not try at all. You've got these kids, own these kids. And so this is really great work. And there's a lot of stories that can be shared here. Evander on the left, I'll just share kind of a little backstory. Evander wearing the Riverdale shirt. This was plushie day. They happened to be doing the Heimlich maneuver. So they were learning the Heimlich on the plushie, which was pretty cute. This is one of our student teachers, Hosanna. But this was last year. We did the talent show. And the day of the talent show, Evander came up to me as a third grader and says, can I do the talent show? Can I sing today? I'm like, of course, yes. What are you going to sing? Bruno Mars. Fantastic. And so he gets up and it shocked me that he volunteered. He got up in front of the whole school and he sang Bruno Mars. Like, it was just a beautiful moment. Really, really beautiful. But he'd been gone for some of those days, and we tracked him down some grandparents' house in Woodburn. No family was home except for dad's girlfriend, and took some convincing, but girlfriend let me in, and chatted it up with Evander, and just again expressing that care and concern for him getting back to school. But again, and this is why we're doing it, is those connections, those relationships. It just means everything. Over here, we got a little kiddo, Julian, who I think mom was really protective, and just, you know, anytime he had any level of cough or anything, just staying home. And yes, there's times when it is warranted. I think oftentimes, you know, those bleeding hearts of mothers keep kids home far more than they should. And again, home visits and parent meetings and conversations that almost turn into confrontations in the car zone. But again, like, it makes the difference, because there's a kid now who jumps out of that truck excited every day to be at the elementary school, excited to be in school, feeling connected, building those relationships. So again, I think this work is some of the most important work, is building those relationships. And so again, that's kind of the overall kind of the work that the Access team is working on this year. And again, we're just trying to every year just keep moving that needle just a little bit further, that sense of belonging, and hopefully further into the community, and not just in our schools. Yeah, thank you.
Let's see, looks like goal 3 is next. Let me close this one. That goal 3? Yes. Yes, okay. Hi, good evening.
So Stephanie Schlosser is online. She's on Zoom. So she's going to be, there she is. There's her beautiful face. She's going to jump in and be doing elementary GES, and then I'll talk about middle school, and Bonnie will be here to do high school. So we get 3 for the price of 1.
So Stephanie, you can just tell me to advance the slide and I'll do it for you, okay?
Okay, perfect. Tony, did you want to say anything to start, or should I just jump into it?
I'll jump in really quickly. So goal 3 specifically is curriculum and instruction. And right now we're really focusing on performance indicator 3A, which has to do with races, which is a writing technique. It's a formula for writing both short answer and longer 5-paragraph papers. Middle school, high school, elementary, middle school, high school, all 3 of the buildings use it, tweak it a little bit in different ways. And that's mostly what we're going to be talking about, is how we do that in 3 buildings. And we're having great success with it and seeing some big improvements in all areas. We'll start with Stephanie in the elementary school.
Alrighty, so at the elementary school, our staff has completed a slide deck that contains, for each grade level, a slide with a writing prompt, as well as it lists the curriculum text or texts that students read prior to engaging with the writing prompt. It includes the state writing standards that connect with the writing task, and then the subsequent slides are the teacher-created exemplars at different levels. So we pulled the slides from 1st, 3rd, and 5th grade. So you can kind of see the progression within each grade level, as well as throughout our building. At the younger grades, we really focus on the R and the A, the first 2 letters, which are restating and answering. So you can kind of see here at the 1st grade, they're just working on kind of looking at the question and pulling out those keywords to start the answer to the question. When we go to 3rd grade, the next slide, you'll see that they start citing examples from multiple sources that they've read from. And then they also kind of explain how those citations relate to the answer in the question. And then in 5th grade, again, you'll just see, hopefully, the teacher exemplar, much more developed paragraphs and summarizing statements, which is that S in the RACES acronym. Our teachers have also worked on completing writing rubrics for each grade level. So the next slide shows an example. This is our 3rd grade rubric. In the back, the kind of grayed out version is the entire rubric. I pulled out just the section that focuses specifically on the races strategy, because the whole rubric also ties in the official state writing scoring guide, and the Oregon State Standards. But as you can see, it breaks down within the organization section, each part of the acronym, and gives our teachers a really clear way to help students see how they can grow from a 1 through 4, which is our GES grading agreement, as well as the 1 through 6 on the official writing scoring guide. So that's where we're at right now. We have the completed teacher exemplars, and then now we're working on collecting the student exemplars, and that'll be our goal to complete by the end of the school year.
Thanks, Stephanie. For middle school, this is us here. I do want to say we are seeing quite a difference with incoming sixth graders in the last year or two. Every year it's getting better and better and better with the writing. So what they are doing in the elementary school is awesome. We are definitely seeing improvement in those students coming in. So this is just very quickly for the middle school. On the left, middle school races or content appropriate alternative. It is alternate, sorry. It is used in our English language arts, our history, our science, our math, our health classes, and in ELD, English language development. On the right, Stephanie already mentioned this just real quickly. What do those letters stand for? It's an acronym. In the middle school, we do it just slightly different than the elementary. The term race or races is specifically used for short answer responses. Think of it like a one paragraph. The R is restate the question. A, answer the question. C, cite evidence from text. E, explain further. And then the CER, claim evidence reasoning, is what our science classes use. That's the alternate appropriate way of doing the writing. And then we use the official, the ODE official writing scoring guide, which is much more detailed for longer responses. That is this. And quite honestly, this has been around for years. When I taught language arts, oh my gosh, that was a long time ago. We use this, and it is much more detailed. You'll see as we go on, this is very, very similar to what the elementary school is using, just more to it. Okay, so we have like ideas and content, we have organization, we have writing choice, on and on and on, and we have all the different 6 categories. So this is for the longer writing. Next. So if you can, I don't know if you can move it down just slightly. If not, it's okay. I don't know why it kept doing this. So this is, that's okay. This is the RACE, R-A-C-E. It is from 1, 2, 3, 4 is what is across the top, which I kept trying to get it and I couldn't get it to work. Think of this almost more of a checklist. So this is for your short answer, 1 paragraph. So they are checking off, are they restating the question? So a 3 is considered passing the standard. They are meeting what they're supposed to do. They are restating the question, but did not include relevant information. Phrasing maybe slightly. So it just asks for more and more and more to get to that 4. Okay. Next is, this is examples. So this is the 6th grade example of race. So 3, remember, is quote passing. Okay, so I love, because I'm very visual, I love the multicolors, and I love how it goes in order. So the R, remember, is restating, is your pink, and then answering, citing, and then evidence. The biggest thing that I want you to notice here is it's the same thing, it just gets a little more added. And I really like this for the kids to look at it, because yes, we're striving for this, but wait, guys, if you do just a little bit more, you'll get that 4. And they can easily see, oh, it's not that much more different. That's 6th grade.
So I'm sorry, but Tony, when that like happens, do you tell them like you didn't explain it enough?
Yes,
or
exactly.
So you're coaching them.
Yeah, exactly. That's what both Will Fenner and Amanda Braswell does, is that yes, they get this, but they also get an explanation. Well, you only got a 2 because you didn't do this and this, or just do this and this, and you'll get to a 3. This is really what we're striving for. would love to have you have this. Just keep pushing them and this is what you need to do to get there. So this is 6th grade. This is notice 8th grade. Didn't show you 7th grade, just showed you 6th and 8th. But even the 1 point is even longer. To get to 1 point, you have to do more than you did in 6th grade. So, but same thing, it's all in order. It's just we need more to pass as an 8th grader. Next one. So this is the science. This is the claim, evidence, and reasoning that they use. It's actually very similar. It's just more in scientific terminology. So they show the claim, photosynthesis, transfer energy, and cycles matter. So that's what they're stating. And then this is the evidence that happens. And this is the reasoning behind it. Next. So this is the big, huge, hefty thing. And this is just to show you what they are doing in the elementary school is the same as we are doing here. They are just breaking it down even a little further for the elementary kids to understand it a little better. But same thing that we are doing in the middle school. This is just a quick example of, this is a 5-6 paragraph essay that an 8th grader wrote. Soul of a Citizen. It was a persuasive essay. So to show that this would be graded with the official scoring guide rather than just the small races. It's with the official scoring guide that we would be doing that. So just show you it's much more detailed, much longer than you saw in elementary, which it should be. And then it gets even more advanced for high school.
Thank you for sharing these examples as
Yeah.
well. I'm
Yeah.
always curious to know like what the curriculum or what specific things you're teaching that month. And you've done an excellent job each time. We've already, like you've talked about race before. And I mean, I think most of us grew up, restating the question and doing all that. So it's like, I'm like, hey, this isn't new, but it's right. Continuing to try and implement that. Okay.
Yeah. And it's races, especially is talked about in every single class. I walk into a class and they're like, remember, we're doing a race paragraph today. And the kids are like, oh, they know exactly what we're talking about. Thank you.
So RACES is a really strong strategy for generating question-based responses. So we saw in Stephanie's example, why do cheetahs run fast? The answer is right there in the text. Or in the middle school example, the Gary Soto essay, what type of jacket did the narrator want to wear? And the answer is right there in the text. The student reads the text, finds the answer, and uses the RACES strategy to write a paragraph response. Students are arriving at the high school really well prepared to do this. Thank you. Yes, and thank you all the way down. It is so nice to have a strategy that students can move through the grades with. So students arrive at the high school knowing how to write RACES paragraphs, and this allows teachers at the high school to take students writing to the next level. What you are looking at here is from the Oregon Language Arts standards for grades 11 and 12. Those are the high school benchmark standards. That is the level students should be able to demonstrate proficiency at for an Oregon diploma. And these are just a few of the writing standards, but you can see that we're moving beyond finding the answer, citing it in a paragraph here. Students are expected to write arguments, and they need to be referring to multiple texts in order to do that. And then they need to take that information and they need to analyze it and synthesize it and generate a thesis statement and then use that evidence to support that thesis statement. We're no longer just moving a statement from a source into a paragraph response here. So high school students should be able to write arguments, and they should also be able to, dropping down to the blue, write informative and explanatory essays, and they need to work with multiple texts and complex ideas. Next slide. So this talks about the difference between the RACE strategy that's being used primarily at the elementary and middle school, and the TICA or Tika C strategy that the high school language arts teachers are using. And I will say the greatest challenge we've been working through for the first half of this year is taking our high school language arts teachers, who are all content trained teachers, who all have their own writing backgrounds, who all have their own favorite strategies that they like to use. And they're all similar and yet different, and agreeing that this is what we are going to use. Races works really well across all content areas for, again, those text-based questions, but Tika C is what we really need to be using at the high school to generate writing at that benchmark level. They both share a lot of constructs. The shared is listed in the middle here. But the biggest difference is race is for a single paragraph response. It is wholly self-contained. With the TICA strategy, each of the TICAs is its own paragraph, and then these paragraphs are linked together to construct your essay. You can have as many paragraphs, as many TICAs in your essay as necessary. Let's move on. Teachers at the high school use Oregon's official writing scoring guide. Yes, that's really what it's called. There are 6 writing traits with a full page for each. Tony was pointing out it is a hefty document. Students are scored on ideas and content, organization, voice, word choice, sentence fluency, conventions, and use of sources. And when you're looking at high school length essays, a teacher really needs to go through and read the piece once for the ideas and content score, read the piece again for the organization, read the piece again for the voice. And it is an arduous and time-consuming task. Frequently, teachers focus on teaching just one of the traits at a time and give students feedback on that specific trait. When you're looking at the scoring guide, a score of 1, 2, or 3 does not meet the standard scores of 4, 5, and 6 do. Most students enter the high school somewhere floating that 3, top students are up into the 4. And remember, we're looking at the same scoring guide, the same descriptors, but what a 3 or a 4 looks like at each grade level is going to be different. So when I'm talking about the 3s to the 4s, we're talking about that grade 11, 12, the benchmark where we are aiming to get all of our students at the high school. Next. High school writing, we're looking at full-length essays. They're fabulous teaching tools. They don't fit well on slides for presentations. So what you're seeing here is just a single paragraph taken out of a level 3 scoring essay. What I wanted to share with you here is the task prompt. This task prompt was one that was formerly used by the state of Oregon for the Oregon State Assessment Writing Performance Task. So this is the level that students are writing towards here. So they're writing an explanatory essay about sunflowers. So it's an essay, it's more than a paragraph. They need to work with more than one source. I believe students were given 4 different sources for this particular prompt. They need to read them. They need to formulate what it is they're going to explain, and come up with their thesis. They need to take the evidence in the text. They need to be able to paraphrase it. They need to be able to select it. They need to be able to analyze it and then put it into their papers, 1 paragraph, 1 TICA per point. And they need to, then create a finished product from that. So we're moving students a long way from finding an answer in a text to generating a full essay that's going to attain a score of 4 in all of those 7 writing traits. So here is a score of 4. Did we skip 3? You moved me along.
Oh, it was 3 when you were talking.
sorry. Okay, there we go. I stopped and I move on. There we go. I just put a 3 and a 4 in here. We do have exemplars, full-length essays, across the range of scores, but it's a lot to include here. Okay, yeah. So that's where we're at the high school. So teachers have agreed on their tika, and working with that consistently across our language arts classes and talking about how they are going to reinforce writing strategies across all content areas of the high school.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you to all of you for all the time effort you put into this district. We hugely appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And goal 4, you get an update every month on goal 4, which is on. And I'll have another update tonight when you have a regular meeting. So that is all we have for the work session at this point in time. So you can.
Okay, I'll close out of the work session and we will go
With
into
your Stephanie.
sessions.
Thank you.
Regular.
A couple of announcements, and then we have some people here that are presenting within the announcement section. First of all, it is Board Recognition Month, in case you did not know this.
Yeah.
So thank you so much for your service, and we have additional gifts for you in Sandra's office. And so we just want to thank you for all that you do. Can be a very lonely job at times, but I know that your staff, your administrators, especially, feel really supported by the school board. We're very thankful that you are rational people who make good decisions and are not afraid to have tough conversations, but really are operating with the best intent for what's best for kids, even when it's hard. So we thank you for that. So we have a little gift here. Henry, we picked your lotion out very specifically for you.
Sweet.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I don't know if I have to smoke it.
Gus assured us it would be an appropriate scent for me. So it's got Gus's approval. If you don't like it, then you need to take that over. Okay, we're gonna we have Frontier Charter Academy is both in person and online. So I have Todd in person and I have Melissa and Katie online. So I'm gonna find their PowerPoint. I am. You can come on up, Todd.
Melissa texted and said, just make sure the settings so she can talk.
Okay,
There
let
you
me.
go.
I gotta
You're
promote all of
right
them.
there.
You're getting promoted. It's a promotion.
Oh.
Thank you later.
Promotion.
Hold on.
Thanks, Katie.
Okay. And then let's see here.
So Melissa, you can hear us okay?
Yep, I can see and hear you.
Perfect.
Yay.
Yeah.
It's a win. Okay, let me try to move this up. Okay,
That's fine. Yeah.
so do
Okay.
you want the clicker, Todd?
Obviously next. You
can do that.
do it. Okay. Great. Super formal there. Well, thank you all for having us back. It's always good to be here. And I know Danny gave me the opportunity to be online, but I said I gotta come down at least once a year and say hi. So it's always a nice, warm welcome place, and I really appreciate our relationship. And I think we're in our 8th year here in business, which is incredible. So it's been great. So here's our annual report. Based last year, we're our building or our office is at the Pioneer School. So that's by rule we have to be within the physical boundaries of the district. So we rent this space, as you will know, and it's working out for us. It has its problems because it's so old, but it's a good space for us. And Melissa works there temporarily, or excuse me, partially. She does her stuff there. We house our student records there downstairs. So we do have some compliance things, but we're not there full time, obviously. But, school profile for last year, we were about 384 students last year, paid on 366 and a total of 30 staff members. You can move on. These are, yeah. And then this slide just shows over time, our 8 years that we've been in existence. We were used to growing. The first year, if you recall, we were grades 5 through 9 only. And then the following year, we were grades K through 10, K11, K12 on the highest year there. I think that was our first K through 12 year. And it was also the COVID year, which spiked enrollment. And then ironically, COVID, post-COVID kind of hindered growth, enrollment growth. And we kind of leveled out. And we can talk about that. Melissa will talk a little bit on the financial side of it, but that's kind of what that represents. And the same thing with this ethnicity. It's just bar graphs showing that we are a statewide school, and we really are kind of representative of the state demographics in the state of Oregon. So not a Jervis demographic, it's a state of Oregon demographic. And same thing with gender. It's just a pretty basic split there with gender. And then, well, that just shows the historical staff information. I think we show administrators in the dark green and teachers in the licensed staff, teaching staff in the light green, and then classified in the blue. Pretty representative. We're pretty heavy that first year, but we administrators, what didn't show that first year is administrators were also teaching too. Now they don't. Well, little bit, but not like the old days. So, all right. This is obviously my favorite slide because it shows kind of where students are. These represent each one of our students. So obviously the Portland Metro and the Valley has it, but we get a lot in Southern Oregon, and then the far reaches of our state where the population is pretty representative of our population in the state of Oregon too. Okay, well, let's talk all the real interesting stuff here.
I'm sure you guys are aware, but we do have an outside independent audit, financial audit every year. And so this slide just shows you the differences between this past year and the year prior to that. Our audit was completed in November. And so this is just the information, the financial information from that audit. And this slide shows our ending fund balance. We're trying to keep it, so that we've got at least a month and a half reserve. And you'll see there that we're succeeding in that goal.
I'll jump in here. You've seen this slide every year. It kind of looks the same. It's not a true copy and paste. These are updated numbers, but we kind of stay there. We're really proud of this. And that is our attendance rates, regular attenders. 91%, and the state of Oregon average is in the red there. So we are above the state of Oregon. The gray boxes represent some of the three larger online schools, so like schools. But that we attribute this to our kind of starting with our philosophy when we built school, and that is we're gonna build curriculum that is that's meaningful. Okay. And the teachers are there and they care, and there's a lot of interaction. It's not, some of those in those gray schools, because I have worked in those types of environments where it's kind of just a click, go through the workbook, if you will, the online workbook, and it's not engaging. Our teachers work really hard to create meaningful curriculum that's engaging for the students, that will have really our idea was that we're not trying to teach you, prepare you for a certain career right now. We're trying to prepare you to be able to be flexible, because as we know, our students that are exiting in 5-10 years from our school into the workforce, into higher ed, into the military, whatever it might be, we don't even know the jobs that are going to be created in the next 5 years, 10 years, right? Because things are happening faster and smaller all the time. So that's the idea. And it really comes back to our attendance rate is high because of that philosophy and the work that teachers do.
Real quick.
Yeah.
On the attendance part of it, how long do they just check in, say they're here, or is there a certain amount of time?
Okay.
Remind me of that.
Katie, are you on there, Katie, to answer that?
Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, so we run live sessions, kind of almost a traditional model where Monday through Thursday, our teachers run a live class that students can either attend or they can also watch the recording. We have students that come to us, looking for flexible scheduling for a variety of reasons. And so we can capture attendance through a number of ways. One is that they attend the live session and then there is an exit ticket at the end, so they can't just pop in and pop out. The other way is that they can do some of that through completing assignments. And if they watch a recording, there's also a check at the end. So it's really difficult for them to have attendance for just kind of showing up. There is kind of an engagement factor that they have to meet.
So the law basically states a two-way communication, academic in nature. And so we can fulfill the legal requirements of that, but we want to go beyond that, obviously.
Sure.
We want to engage. So the best way, what we tell families that are interested, what's it like? We say the best thing to do is come to the live class and get involved, be engaged. But if you want to talk legal compliance, they could technically never show up to a live class. They could watch recordings, communicate with their teachers. That would be legally compliant. And some students are successful doing that. It depends on the learner too. So, but most of them generally are coming live class. All right, Katie, you want to take this, Katie?
Yep. Yeah. So these are some of our highlights from last year. You can see our grad rate here. We had about, I want to say 32 graduates. So, we have students that come to us in high school many times have had kind of a difficult go with their education. So they might have been unsuccessful in other settings. They might come to us credit deficient. So while we always want an upward trend in our grad rate and we're never kind of satisfied with it, we also do recognize where our students come to us and that it's a path forward. So that was our rate last year. If you look at our 5-year completer rate, that's kind of reflective of that as well. So some of our students need more time when they come to us with limited credits. And then our on track to graduate, that is looking at our freshmen and their credits accrued. And again, that kind of depends when we get them. Where we see our students are the most successful are, when they've been with us for a longer period of time. That's not to say they can't be successful when they move in like in the middle of high school. But if we were able to kind of track a cohort that's been with us, say, through elementary school, I think these numbers would be kind of dramatic, but we don't have that data for you today.
Yeah. The state of Oregon actually calls it students' mobility. So if a student transfers a school after they started their freshman year, the grad rate, the ODE told us was 50%. So a lot of our students are students of mobility. And so we exceed that, but it still looks, if you go, 76, no. But put it all together, it's actually a positive thing for the students that are choosing online ed.
And it's another thing too, if you look at like larger virtual schools, that rate is quite a bit higher too. So we're very proud of our students' progress.
Mm-hmm.
And then this next slide, we've been able to offer really robust club offerings for the last few years. So this is just, I'm not going to read you the list, but this is just a list of those that we had last year and the grades that could participate. This is a great way, we engage our students through the live sessions, but this is also a way to build community for our students to kind of foster peer relationships. And it's been really successful. And it's allowed students to kind of have that non-academic necessarily experience, that they can have that in a virtual setting as well. And it just kind of builds our culture.
Yeah, and a lot of the clubs originate from ideas from students. And so we were like, we want to honor that. And so, hey, that's great. And so we always have a teacher will act as an advisor. And so a lot of these were student interest driven.
It's an adulting club.
I know, I was just wondering that.
I looked that up, actually.
So the adulting club is also an extension of a component that we run in middle school homeroom classes. And first of all, everybody should take it. And it's been really good for our students, and they really enjoyed it enough to extend it into a club, which we think that will pay dividends in their future.
And
And
Frontier
then-
Days.
Yeah, and then our Frontier Days are once a month. And so we run two on our Frontier Day, so it's a Friday, and we tend to run one that's kind of along that I-5 corridor. So it'll be Portland or Salem or Corvallis. And then we have another one that kind of rotates the outskirts. I know Todd showed that kind of scatter plot with all of our students, and it's completely up to them which one they want to attend. So they can make a weekend out of it and choose to go to the one that's in Coos Bay, or they can go to the one that's closer to home. And that's been really fun. This is just kind of like a sample of it because we offer between 8 and 10 a year, but they are a really nice opportunity for students to see each other in person and their teachers. It's been really good for families too. We have a family Facebook page, and that's where parents are able to connect. And the Frontier Days have been a really good platform for that. So families will get on ahead of it. They'll be like, hey, I have a second grader. We're new to the school. Who else is going to Philip Foster Farm? And then those have turned into like families and students hanging out afterwards, or they'll go get lunch before. And these have just always been a really positive part of our school. And they continue to really be well attended to the point where it's kind of hard to find places that can house us.
Yeah.
But they've been very popular.
Yeah, it's a good problem to have. Tomorrow's actually swimming, our second attempt at swimming. And last year, I was so nervous to sign off on this one last year, but it went so well. Our families are so well behaved and everybody did so well. I said, let's do it because it's super popular. They actually said, this is so different, so fun, and we love it. So we're doing swimming again tomorrow. If anybody's going to Dallas Aquatic Center, come on in. Okay, well, thank you, Katie. So enrollment, this is moving into this year. Just kind of give you a highlight where we at. We're sitting at 377. We actually started around 317 or so. We've grown quite a bit, and it's been intentional. We've been trying to grow. We changed some marketing things and really picked up about 60 students. Now we probably picked up over 100, but we lose them too. So we'll talk a little bit about that at the end here, what's going on. But anyway, that's fine. Technology wise, same as always. We're using a local company out of Beaverton, and we're sending Chromebooks out to the students. We just ordered 25 more today, so we have more kids. So we're using a good. We don't buy the cheapest one. We buy a good one that's knock on wood, fairly resistant to breakage, but they're still kids. But yeah, so far so good. The tech has been really good. That was one of the things when we started school. Every student gets a device. We're not going to share devices like some of the other schools still do, actually. So yeah. Is that our last slide? I think it is.
Yeah.
So I'll just quickly mention, I talked briefly about the 377. Melissa, what did we budget this year, ADM?
I think I budgeted I don't know, it was higher, 380, something like that.
Yeah, so we're running under. So I'll just say this in full transparency. This was a very, very difficult winter because we did coming about 2 weeks from now, we actually have at the end of semester, we are dismissing 2 teachers due to budgets. 2 very good teachers, and that was a tough one. There were some tears in some of those meetings on both parties, no doubt. We also are reducing one administrator, the executive director of the school. That's me. So I am not leaving. Just so you know, I'm moving into a TOSA role, and really a lot of my focus is running online sessions, hand-holding parents, getting them in through the process of getting their docs in and all that. I might pick up some teaching duties. I'm running out to Beaverton to grab those. So I'm still, Todd, just doing whatever it takes, but I will go to a TOSA teacher salary. And so we basically reduced 2.5 salaries on the teacher scale. And we did some other things. We took the admin and management took 7 furlough days, 1 per month for the rest of the year, and the teachers are taking 6, 1 per month for the rest of the year. And it saved us $250,000 for this school year, which is considerable for us. So Melissa's great, but you know that she can only bend those dollars so far. And so we had to make some pretty tough decisions. So I don't know if I'll be down here next year. I'll still be with the school, but Katie and Bo are the two licensed administrators. Well, I'm a licensed administrator too, but they will be the acting administrators. Katie is taking kind of the lead with the business and the executive director type role, and she is more than qualified. Probably should have done it a long time ago. We'd be in better shape, huh, Katie? Anyway, but that's where we're at. That's full transparency where we're at. But yeah, but the school's okay. We're going to keep going. It's just one of those bumps in the road, and you've been around this long enough to know budgets are cyclical, and unfortunately we hit a little bump, but we are coming out of it. I am, at 377 and it's climbing. I think we'll get over that 400 this year, and that should be fine for us, right, Melissa? Shake your head.
The right way, yeah.
Excellent. All right. Any questions? All right.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you all.
Thank you very much.
That was thorough.
Thank you, Melissa. Katie.
Okay, Kristen, I'm promoting you to a panelist. You here, Kristen? Hi there.
Hi, everybody.
And
Hi.
you need to be able to share. Did you need to be able to share your screen?
I do, yeah.
I'm gonna make you a co-host then. And you should have the ability.
I do. Let's see.
So while Kristen's getting set up, remember she's our representative from OSBA and she will help facilitate my evaluation. So you have the evaluation handbook here and she's gonna kind of walk you through some of the tests.
Yeah. Hello, good to see you. I'll be seeing you in person. Not the too far distant future, but figured it was easier to do it this way so you don't incur travel costs and this won't take very long. So happy to see you. We will just be walking not through the entire booklet unless you have questions about that, but really just through the process. So I don't intend to take a ton of your time. What the process is so you all have the booklet. And the process is going through each of the standards. And then, Dandy, I assume you've got goals as well. You usually do.
I do have goals.
Okay. So you'll receive from Dandy her self-evaluation and her goals. What you each do then is fill out the individual evaluation. And you go home and you've got your thoughts. You've got the evaluation booklet in front of you. However, in years past, what I have done is either given you a fillable form, or some folks have scanned it. What I have done this year is I'm going to put it into a SurveyMonkey. So it looks just like the evaluation booklet, but it'll be much easier. The fillable PDFs have sometimes not been great or user friendly. So you'll just have a SurveyMonkey link that I'll just be able to collect from you. When you fill out the form, obviously your data, and this starts on page 15, right? There's a whole bunch of narrative before you get to the actual standards and where you're filling it out if you want to look at it. Your data comes from your personal knowledge and the self-evaluation. And so as you go through that, and we'll talk about dates, the rating categories are on page 14. You're filling this out, you're going through the SurveyMonkey and you're filling it out. So I'm going to send you that. You're going to fill that out no later than March 3rd. I know we had to move some dates around because of a power outage. That's fun. That was a great time that everybody had to deal with for a while. And so you'll fill that out no later than March 3rd. What I do now, and this may have been what we did in the last time I did this, but instead of everybody just coming with their own thoughts and booklet, which is what we used to do, what I like to do now is, no, I did do this last time, is collect everybody's stuff in advance. And instead of starting with a blank slate where I just sort of, type what you're thinking, I will collect your comments and start for you. And because the whole point at the end is to give your superintendent a one voice evaluation. And we don't want to write her, 5 paragraphs for every standard because that's not usable. Just like with everything else, you want to prioritize the message that you're giving her, be really clear in what you're saying, and ensure that the themes that you're all talking about rise to the top. And so, what I used to do is sit and scribe as you were all talking in real time, see what you thought, and then we would move on. And they would be like 2 to 3 statements per standard. Now, what I like to do is this is why partly why I give you a Survey Monkey is gather your thoughts ahead of time, look at all of them, see what themes rise to the top as I'm looking at them, and then come to you with a draft document. That is not where it stands, right? I don't just show it to you and you say, okay, because it's your evaluation, not mine. But this way, we're starting with not just a blank slate. I'm saying, here's what I saw. Now let's engage in dialogue about that. It saves time generally. And still, everybody gets to participate and say, here's how I would say that, or here's, and you all get to converse with each other. I'm not part of your conversation. Again, my job is still just to scribe and facilitate, and also make sure that we stay within the executive session provision that you're there to talk about evaluation and not anything else. But it gives, again, we're not starting from a blank slate. So you'll make sure that you fill out your evaluation no later than March 3rd. That will allow me to put together your thoughts. I'll come to you on March 12th to then facilitate your discussion. At that point, then we create that draft one voice evaluation out of all your thoughts and comments, come together with ratings for each of those standards, also look at the goals. And so then I would need those in advance too, because I'll pre-fill what the goals are into the Survey Monkey so that you can reflect on those as well. So then the other thing that I'll want to know is, and I think we've done it both ways in the past, but I don't know what you would like to do this time. Are we then, and I think we're running up against a deadline at this point, but are we presenting that? So part of what we do is once you've got the draft, then we bring your superintendent in to look at your draft to then talk about it. There are 2 ways we can go at this point, and if we're running up against a deadline, there may be only one way to do this, but we can either, give her some time to look at it, talk about it, and then ask you questions and discuss. You are free at that point to make any adjustments you would like to make based on your conversation with her. Then you come out of executive session and adopt whatever final document you land on. Or if there's still time, you can give it to her, let her sit with it for a little bit, and then come back and have a short executive session in front of or during another meeting in the future, after she's had some time to process, then finalize it and come out and adopt it at a future meeting. But I don't know, are you doing the March 15th thing where you would need to adopt it at the same meeting? Is that your deadline?
Let's see here.
Yeah, because March, we got it in March.
Yeah. So, I don't. We can do it all on the 12th, or the following week is the board meeting.
Yeah, I think we're gonna figure out one meeting.
We've been building on this for many years.
I know we've done it in one meeting in the past.
Yeah.
I think it's just what everybody's comfortable with, so.
Yeah, I'm fine with it. What I'll do is I'll have my self-evaluation done by your February board meeting. We can go to executive session. I'll give it to you. You can ask some questions, and then that gives you a couple weeks to get it done before the March 3rd deadline.
Okay. And then on the 12th, when I'm there, do you want to just do you want to do it all in one meeting where Dandy, you'll read it, you'll process it yourself in the same meeting and discuss, and then they'll vote and adopt it, make any adjustments they want to make after talking to you and adopt it that night?
Yes, I'm fine with that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So then it'll be done March 12th. Okay. So that works then. So as soon as if we want to work out like when you want to give them, like, do you know when you might have your self-evaluation to them? Because
Yeah,
it's
I'm gonna have it to them at the February board meeting.
when's
And then
that?
I'll have an executive session so they can ask me questions if they need to.
Okay.
And so after the February, what's our February meeting? That's February 19th.
Okay.
So then they'll have my feedback a couple of weeks before your March 3rd deadline.
Okay. Okay. So you're presenting it February 19th to them?
Yes.
Okay, great. So if you would like to send me your goals, I will build that survey.
Okay.
And then after February 19th, what I'll do is like the next day or whatever, I will
Yeah.
send out the survey because they'll have that and then they can, think about it. So then then you will all have until March 3rd to fill out everything. You'll have all the information you need then to fill out everything. And you'll have until March 3rd to do that. That sound good?
Perfect.
Okay, I know some of you have been around a while and have done this a few times with me. Probably tired of seeing me after all these years. Any questions on the process or the instrument or anything that I can help with before I get there or before we start?
I think we're good.
Yeah.
Thanks,
Great.
Kristen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
Thank you.
great. I look forward to seeing you all again.
All right.
All right. See you
Yeah.
soon.
Bye.
Bye.
All right, now I'm bringing Savannah into, it's not Savannah, but it's got a name.
Bring it.
This person, whoever's gonna show up is with the auditors, and I'm gonna kind of turn it over to Karen. I don't know who it is.
But I don't.
I'll let her introduce herself.
Hello, can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Jen.
Perfect. So yes, I am presenting. My name is Savannah. I have worked with Umpqua Valley Financial for almost 10 years now as the communications manager. Our CPA is actually trying to take a little bit of a leave after the tough audit season. So she is listening in with me, but I will be presenting the audit. Conversation was had, and we're just gonna try to keep it short and sweet for you guys to try to not take up too much time. First, I do want to thank the board for all you do for the district. I know it is not easy what you do, decisions you make. Also the board inquiries that we send out that we expect to be filled out by you guys aren't always straightforward or the easiest. So I do appreciate your guys' time in filling those out. It does help us with our work papers and everything that we're doing. So I do appreciate that. Karen, obviously we appreciate you. You make the train keep moving. You are great to work with. Your abilities to give us information in a timely manner. As far as communication goes, you don't lack in that. So we do appreciate that very much. On to the audit. Once again, this has been a clean audit, so which means the financial statements were free of material misstatement, which is great for a school district, especially of your size. The net position is moving in a positive direction, which is great to know for the district. The district did have a single audit for this year. But again, there were no findings when completing that single audit. There were no findings in the financial statements. Everything panned out, balanced out. And again, that is thanks to Karen and the team that helps her. Do you guys have any questions for me at all regarding the audit?
Clean all the time.
Nothing bad to say, so which is a good thing. But yes, again,
Karen, thank you for your hard work, and I know the board appreciates you, your team appreciates you, and thank you all for another good year. Any improvements on our part, we're willing to hear and take in. Anytime we ever do feel like the district should change in a certain way, or there's something that comes up, please know that we will bring that up to the board. That's not something that we're going to hold in, especially, communication with Karen, superintendent, and whatnot. But yes, thank you all for your continued hard work and dedication. And it was a joy to work with you once again.
Thank you.
Thanks, Savannah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, of course. I hope you guys have a great night.
And of course, once you've had a chance to overlook that audit marked out, I'm happy to answer any questions. You can email her or send it to me.
But congratulations on a clean audit.
The win.
Yeah.
Okay, we're on to 3.0, Jenny.
All right. Approval of minutes. Did anybody have anything needed to change? All right, get a motion. Yeah, well, I service the school district board of directors approve the minutes from November 20th for regular and executive session. So we have a motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Perfect. Did we have anybody who signed up to chat tonight? No. Okay. The rewards.
Okay, first is our student council report. I see some students in the audience here. Who's in the hot seat?
They wanna got the link, he's gonna, it's here.
Oh.
And I went out and I was like, I don't know if they still have it, and no one, I know what to reach out. Because it's for Women's Appreciation Month, the welding and wood class made you guys wax and a little VHS symbol.
Fabulous.
This is cool.
Do you guys want to introduce yourselves to the board members so that we can just remember who you are?
My name is Madeline Herrera.
Leah is-
My name is obviously Selma Rollins. My name is Bernadette Kennedy.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Full basket. It's like Christmas.
She's not here.
Yeah.
You. I was just talking with a student about this that they were doing this with Lindsay and stuff, and it's so cute.
Want more information?
Oh.
She'll be the first one to start this. So I made the welded GHS signs. I used the plasma cutter to cut out the letters, and then I used the MIG welder to weld the letters together and the letters to the base. And then I used just a hand grinder to clean off.
Nice. Great job.
Cool.
Nice.
What grade are you? I'm in
The junior. Did you ever think about doing the Willamette career? Too?
I thought about it, but I decided not to.
Because they have welding, right? The whole thing.
And then I believe it was Brandon Guido and Omar Perez that made, I don't know if all the plaques or at least some of them.
Yeah.
So they're the
Right, I
ones
just
that-
talked about it today. It's like, yeah.
It's good work.
Yeah.
It's really excited to see it from my current class. The work they're doing. I know, like yesterday, they just got here. It's like screws for the tables that for finals. A lot of students are running up, getting any screws they can find to make their table. I was like, what do you call them? Get them.
Bernadette, how many years, is this just your first year of welding?
First year of welding, yes.
Nice.
I've
Good job.
been in the FFA program since 8th grade.
Awesome. Good job.
Thank you.
Now we'll start the board report for the January. We did add a little bit of December since there was no meeting in December because of the weather. So I'll start. For sports, in boys basketball, they have a game tomorrow at 7 p.m. against North Marion, and I believe it's here. Yes. And then on Tuesday, they have a game against Regis, which is away at also 7 p.m. The girls basketball has a game tomorrow against Sheridan at 5:30 here, and then on Tuesday, they also have a game against Regis at 5:30. In wrestling, they are practicing 5 days a week, Monday through Friday, from 3:30 to 5:30. And next week on Wednesday, they have a meet located at Regis at 4 p.m. In track and field, they're beginning the preseason, and they are having many practices for now. And softball this Saturday is open gym at 10 p.m. or 10 a.m. Sorry, not 10.
Hi, FFA. Yesterday we just had the goats and sheep interview. It was after 1:10 p.m. after school. It was early release, and me and Brenda we were presenting. We were doing a slideshow, and we also brought a demonstration of like show equipment that is needed to show like goats and sheep. And we're talking both, and then it was a good, successful interview, and we had like three people interested in showing goats. And for sheep, sadly the girl couldn't make it that day, but we are determined if she's gonna end up showing. So, and then we just answer the concerns and like any concerns or like questions they have, because it was mostly their first year showing. So like, some of them were switching species. It was interesting. It was like, oh, I was excited. I'm like, oh, you're switching. It gets me excited. I'm like, new thing, like new year, everything, like you gotta change it up sometimes. And then our judges were McCarter, Mr. Price, and then Miss Burns. And then today we had a poetry interview for students who are interested in showing the chicken or turkey for the American Fair. I have no idea. So far, I don't know who went. I just know 3 people I know that I notified them because they're like, oh, I want to go. Just let me know. Right. So I only know 3 people have gone, but there's more people. I know there's people going because a lot of people have been loving the chickens. Like the middle schoolers, a lot of them are starting with small animals, so a lot of them will be starting with chicken or rabbit. So there's possibly, but the high schoolers, there's possibly they love turkeys. Yeah, and then next week, we're just working on like finalizing our state officers are coming, so we're finalizing we're doing a little golf kind of tournament. We're doing a lot of small, like going to, I think Wonderland, I believe. We're going to spending time, and then they're going the next day going to our chapter meeting. And after that, we'll be having our like state degree. I'm getting my state degree hopefully this year, where I'll be presenting at City Hall, where they are gonna evaluate if I get approved or not. And then I just basically spent an audience like you guys. They'll just basically see my timeline throughout my whole 4 years of like FFA. What I've done and what I plan to use my education on.
You'll do great.
Yeah. I've been making it really cute. It's been like all photos. It's like little scrapbooks. I really want to show anyone. I'm like, anyone. Oh, another exciting news. For like Pup. So it's not Pup didn't have a conceived this year, but for the breeding animals, Alex late December on the 20th. First maybe I believe he had his rabbits had baby kits. We have 2 litters, 2 moms, and they had I think we had like 16 rabbits. Maybe.
Oh wow!
Yeah, 2 moms. Yeah.
Holy smokes!
Yeah. Yeah, and then my goat delivery had a baby goat. It was a female. So this breeding season has been successful.
Lots of babies.
Yeah, lots of babies in the barn. It's kind of getting full now. Like we're starting. There's like 4, I think 4 just for the older bunnies, and like 6 pens for all those little bunnies. They're all like separated because they all have to go 3 just to get them around the same weight.
Wow. Yeah.
I can do this one. So during December, National Honor Society had a white elephant gift exchange for all their members, and they were also trying to plan an event during the winter. However, because of like the weather and everything that was going on, they just decided it was probably not the best idea. And then they also donated about $700 to a local Marine Folk food boxes, and they bought cookies to be distributed to the local community of Jervis. And in February, they're planning to do the yearly ballograms, which they offer rose cards and a teddy bear students can buy to give appreciation to somebody else. And they get distributed on Friday of the day before Valentine's. Yes.
Then Aidas Oro has performed a few songs and dances for the middle school on December 12th, and will also be performing on a basketball game during halftime for the girls and guys game
tomorrow.
Nice. Yeah. The Inkling has been working on producing their January newspaper. Okay. There you go. The yearbook senior portrait and quotes were due the 1st of January. They have been busy at work as the deadline has approached. They've been working on sending out surveys to the whole school for the yearbook. For example, they send out the worst and best TikTok trend survey. They also send out a survey for senior class to give the people a chance to vote for different topics. For example, best dressed, most brightening your day, or most athletic.
And then for evening school, it has continued to be available for our students, especially now that it's about final season coming around the corner. You know, everybody's rushing to finish those classes. And so it's a great offer for everybody and anybody who wants to, just catch up on those assignments.
Honestly, it makes me look back at my freshman year like, I wasn't stressing enough, I guess. They're all like running and freaking out. I'm like, wow, how I just been like, I think I need it, I guess. Yeah. And then for college and career, the Project Joy was during December. The College and Career Councils invited students to hang out, organize gift for children in the foster care system. This is the 3rd year they have taken students. It was a fun experience, making everyone had a good time. They had many speakers come in and talk about either college or career paths for students. OSU was here to talk about their college, and the fire department came Tuesday.
And then the Dora Becker Children's Hospital fundraiser, so the Mr. and Mrs. Jervis pageant we've begun practice in December. And so right now today we had practice. I came from that. The people who are in the pageant are Adriana Lopez Reese, Ana Elena Gomez, Ben Cam, Gabriela Luna, Juan Ariano, Johnny Mariano, Madeline Herrera, Liliana Zamora, and Valeria Campuzano. And then the winter arts night that we were planning for December was postponed because that day, the day before was light out, so they were kind of worried about everything else.
Yeah. And then leadership in December, we had Spirit Week before the break. Following days for the Spirit Week was Monday was PJ Day, Tuesday was Jersey Day, Wednesday is Color War Day, and Thursday was Disney Day, and Friday North Pole Day. And then we also had a student assembly to celebrate the beginning of the winter break. And next Friday, we're having our monthly meeting of the student of the month to recognize them. Leadership is starting to plan prom. The day has been set for May 16, 2026. They also begin working on a service project plan to make small things make a difference.
So everybody's been giving a little project, and then we're trying to focus on it and hopefully plan it out between the months of January, February, and March. Yeah. And that's it. Thank you.
Great. Thank you.
Do you have any questions?
All right. Thank you guys.
Thank you. I didn't get the sheet, so I'm so sorry, but I know you got. I know I gave your I know you got one.
Yeah.
I just.
Did you get yours?
No, I got one.
I just made sure. I know I did. Because I have
you.
first.
Thank you.
Thank you. I was just making sure I know I'm forgetting you guys. So I brought it in. I was like, oh, because I couldn't text no one, and then I was doing homework, so half of my batteries died. I was like, okay, I'm just.
Did you get yours?
No, not okay, I was making sure.
And then
I got her.
Oh, okay.
She got her from Rona store.
Okay.
Yeah, she hit me up first.
Okay.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you. Tell them all, thank you for the wonderful gifts.
Thank you.
Okay, we're up for managers. Who wants to go first? So Tracy, do you have her PowerPoint?
Yeah, they're all on the desktop.
Do you want to come and take care of that?
We can agree on that.
Does that say tech, maintenance, food service? Got it.
Yeah.
Got it. See it now.
I will put you in the pull this one. So before I do my short presentation, I have to mention that the students from the Honor Society not only donated those cookies, those girls came out the day we had no power and packed over 100 boxes of food from different vendors that we were able to get.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, so they were out there in the cold and I think it was raining. Anyway. All right, so there's been a lot of talk in the news a couple months ago about community eligibility provision and changes in what the government wants to do. So I thought maybe we could talk about this a little bit. Community eligibility, or what we call CEP, is what keeps our kids all eating meals at no cost. So the things that they base it on are our percentage of migrant, homeless, SNAP benefits, foster care, preschool promise, and Medicaid was added in January 2024, and we'll talk about that in a minute. So for an example, our free reimbursement rate right now at $471. If our rates, because just to make it a round number, was 80%, so 80 of our children would get the rates reimbursed to the food service program at $4.71 or $376. The other 20 would get reimbursed at 55 cents, making it $11 to cover those 20 meals, which we know does not do it, and we do not get money from anywhere else. Parents do not pay the difference. So that's why CEP is very important to our program and to our school. For one, we can go to the next slide. CEP was done at the request of the Sturgis School Board. They wanted Claire, who was the director before me, to investigate CEP. So in 2014-15, she did that. This is the very start. Sturgis is always at the very beginning of everything good that comes to this district. And the elementary and high school were combined and at 84.9% of community eligibility, and the middle school and the alternative school at 91.6. So the reason those numbers are off is actually the elementary and the middle school were probably 100%. The other kids the other schools, they would have had to pay for their lunches. Well, that's not what we wanted. So we want everyone to eat free. So we did what they call grouping. So the elementary went from 100% grouped with the lower percent of the high school and came up to the 84, and the same with the other one. It's a loss of revenue for us, but the most important thing that our district wants is all of our kids to eat free. So that's what we all do. In mid-year 2023, the government decided that Medicaid would be an eligibility category for CEP. So they asked us to redo our things in the middle of the year, and we did that in October through December, and that brought our rate up to 99.81, which was great. That means only 19% of one child, So and it increased our food service reimbursement count tremendously. The concern is that if there's any changes, if that goes away, or loss of SNAP benefits to our family, then those rates go down. And then the income for the reimbursement rate and revenue for the food service program goes along with it. So we're currently in our second year of a 4-year cycle. So every time you renew, it's 4 years. I did not renew for the first time last year because there was so much going on up and down with it. It was our second year. I'm like, we're just going to ride this one out and then do it next year. So the state of Oregon is encouraging us to do our renewals this year. Hopefully it'll keep our numbers up. For this year, it's going to be based on enrollment April 1st of who qualifies.
and has qualified through the year if they're still enrolled. So if they went off in January, it wouldn't affect it, because they would have been enrolled sometime between July 1 and like SNAP benefits, for example. So hopefully those numbers will still be enough. We can either accept the new numbers, which could be the same, or we can just write off the next 2 years on the 99.81%. So that'll be something we'll know about in April, between April and June. So the concern we had 2017 and 18, there was a big political shift, and with some of our community members that dropped enrollment in SNAP benefits, and it dropped us down from those high 80s down to 73.3%. We had families who didn't want to, even though they qualified and their children qualified, they were too afraid to actually ask for SNAP benefits or migrant, even migrant services. Our migrant services dropped at that time. But even with the decrease, the Jervis School District and the school board has always held that the priority is that all kids will eat at home. So that's where we stand. So, any questions about CEP?
So my question for you is, you're looking at renewing this year, but you don't really, if depending on what the numbers look like, you can go another 2 years at the 99 rate. But if, depending on what the numbers look like when you renew, then it pushes it out 4 more years.
2 more years.
Well,
If
2
we-
plus
if-
the 4, right? I mean,
if-
a total of 4. It'll push it out to 2000, what, or 26 up to
28
to 30, right?
Yeah, if we continue with the rate we have, or if we renew at the one rate, let's say it goes down to 80%, we can choose that for 4 years, knowing that the following year it could drop tremendously more.
Yeah,
we have families that are moving out, or when there's just different variables.
Right.
So it'll be a discussion to have in the fall. One more thing, I wanted to give an update on my board report on commodities. Yeah, because it's been a month, and I said that we didn't know yet what because they reevaluate our commodities in November. It was slow in the government getting out to us, but we did get an extra $1,500 that has already been spent. So they sent us the thing there where they have things available. So if you have money, you can purchase, that we took advantage of that.
Perfect.
Yep. Anything else?
No, thank you.
Okay.
Okay, technology.
Mind if I drive, Dandy?
You can totally try.
I'm a control.
Yes, I appreciate that. Here, take whatever.
So I'm gonna talk about the technology that we're getting with the bond. We are not getting any holographic AI teachers. Sorry to disappoint. So in the district, we have a goal, and that's to have standardized, updated technology in all of our classrooms and common areas. So in the classrooms, what we're looking at going towards is interactive flat panel displays, also known as smart boards, but not necessarily that brand. And I'll show you those in a second. Also demo stations. Those are something that we can implement in our science classrooms and our culinary art classroom and art classroom. I'll show you those as well. Chromebooks we already have in our classrooms. We have classroom sets and wall-mounted charging stations, so we'll just continue that. That continues to be a focus for us. And in the common areas, we want to add flat panel display signage to keep our parents and our students informed. And then also in the common areas, we want to have projectors and screens and audio systems that are of high quality and work when we want them to. I will show you now. This is the 65-inch flat panel displays are what we would use for signage around the district. And you'll notice that the cost of this, it's a Samsung 65-inch flat panel display, is $1,200. And I know that I could go to Walmart and get a TV, a 65-inch Samsung TV for about $400. But what makes these different is to see that it's only an inch thick, so it gets really flush on the wall. we'll have to add another inch for the mount, but it'll still be much more flush than any TV. It's also a lot brighter and it has a higher resolution, so you can go really big with that lettering and it doesn't get pixelated. And the other thing that these have is they come with an cloud-based app for management and design. So you can design whatever you want to post and then decide which boards to put it on. And that over there kind of gives you an idea of what 65-inch TV kind of looks like next to your person. So, interactive flat panel displays. So right now in our classrooms, we have this. We have the ceiling mounted projector and the screen, and you can see how dim that is. You have to kind of turn off the lights, and if the window's open, that screen's probably waving a little bit, and you hear the hum of that projector. And it's a one-trick pony. It just shows what you put on the screen. But over here on the right, this is an interactive display panel. It's a lot brighter, it's quiet, and it's only quiet if you don't have the integrated speaker turned on, which is one more thing that teachers don't have to have cluttering up their desk is the sound system. And I'm going to show you a really short movie. It's a minute and a half to kind of give you an idea of what these are.
One of the best tools on the Samsung Interactive Display, WAF, just got even better. Meet the new Whiteboard app. With it, you can use the text pen to automatically convert your handwriting to text. Access Split Canvas to divide the whiteboard into 2, 3, or 4 screens, allowing multiple students or groups to work independently within the same whiteboard space. Under the Tools bar, press the Add button to find a ruler, sticky notes, periodic table, mind maps, and more to enhance your lessons. If you need to insert images, videos, or an alternate input directly into the Whiteboard app, use the Add button inside the Tools bar. After you or your students are done, you can share any whiteboard creations with students easily by uploading them to the cloud or generating a QR code for quick access. Press the Menu button and the QR code button to create the code within the app. The Whiteboard tool is designed to work with existing lesson plans to enrich the teaching and learning experience for all. You'll love watching your classroom engagement soar.
So we've had smart boards in the past and they didn't really take off. And I think that was because it's a very specific software that they had to learn, and it was hard for them to integrate that into their teaching. But this, I think it's kind of like their existing whiteboard, only it's more of a digital thing and it's really an all-in-one place. What's also nice is students can cast their Chromebooks to the screen so they can show their work up on the screen. Anyway, they're kind of a really cool thing to have. Cost of these is $4,150, and then you need another $150 for the mount. And the pictures kind of show the size. The 86 inches is the one that we're looking at, and that's what it looks like.
So are these going in all school classrooms, or is this specific for?
Eventually.
Where are we starting?
The bond is gonna kickstart that. You know, when we say that we want to have updated, standardized equipment in every classroom, and that's great until you look at the budget, and then it's really hard to prioritize that. So the bond is going to give us a really good start, and so to begin with, it's going in all the remodeled classrooms, and then some. So at the middle school, all the classrooms are being remodeled except for those 4 portables, and we're going to throw those in too. So so we keep everybody happy.
But we'll have a cycle for how we're adding what we're going through.
Yeah. And that price, if you divided that by the 28 kids in the classroom, it's about $150 a kid. So when you do it like that, it's really not that much. Okay, demo stations. So in this picture, you can see the guy up here, he's cutting some chicken, and it shows on all these panels. And what you don't see is all the kids up there crowded around and watching what he's doing and seeing it upside down from their perspective. So the kids are able to sit at their tables and take notes and look at those flat panel displays. So that's what we mean by the demo stations. And the way that works is there's a ceiling mounted recessed camera
that you can zoom down and you can look at your science goo really close, or you can back it off and look at your whole workstation there. The cost of that camera system is $5,875, and then the flat panel displays. That's going to depend on like how much ceiling you have will determine how big you can go with your flat panel, how big a TV you can buy, and also the size and shape of your room will determine how many you want. But I'm guessing like 2, and I threw in $1,000 a piece just for the mount and everything. So that's my round number for that.
Quick question with
Yeah.
that. Like that doesn't lead us into any difficulty with our contracts with teachers with the camera being in their room?
No.
Nope. Okay.
So now I'm going to show you the projects by the building. So to remind you, at GES, we're going to remodel the entrance and the vestibule, and we're going to expand the special ed space. At GMS, we're going to build a new building and remodel the existing main building. At GHS, we're going to remodel the office and vestibule, the art classroom, the culinary classroom, the science classrooms, the weight room, the staff room, and the library. So starting with the elementary school, and before I get going, when I have it in yellow like that, that means that it's E-rate eligible. And what that means is E-rate will pay for 90% of the cost of the item and its installation. Starting off in this lower gym, we're just going to add these little buildings here. So not a big project there. We're going to need a wireless access point that's E-rate fundable. And then we're going to need a phone somewhere in this corridor so everybody can reach it. So that's an easy one. And then continuing in the elementary school, in the new vestibule, we want to add one of those flat panel displays for signage. And I'm thinking right over this bank of chairs, we'll put it up on the wall there. Okay, this is the big one. So this is the new middle school building. So the things in yellow, are anyway. So the things in yellow are E-rate again, and we need to start with we're going to have a new wiring closet. So we're going to need 4 switches in there. We're going to need fiber optics and patch cables. We're going to need a UPS battery backup, which our power dips a lot and our power goes out a lot. So this really saves the equipment. And then E-rate will, of course, pay for the items and their installation and their implementation. And then also from E-rate, we're going to be getting wireless access points. These are these yellow dots all around here. There's 7 of these yellow dots over here, and then a bigger one over here because we're going to need a higher capacity one for the cafeteria, because that cafeteria is also a presentation and a large group space. 65-inch flat panel displays for signage. We're going to need 1 in the conference room and 1 in the vestibule. The 86-inch flat panel for the classrooms. We have 3 classrooms and the library that will get those. And then I have there plus 11 other classrooms. So we're going to be left in the existing main building. We're going to be left with 7 classrooms there, and then the 4 portables in the other next to them. And then we're going to need Chromebook wall racks in our new classrooms and the library, and we're going to need Chromebooks. So, and they each hold 20 at the middle school, they each have class sets of 28. So we need 112 Chromebooks and 4 Chromebook wall racks. Document cameras, a lot of people call those Elmos. Those are still used in the classroom. It's not a big ticket item, but we'll need 4 of those. The demo stations. So we said that those demo stations would be great in science classrooms, and these 2 are science classrooms. The projector screen and audio system for our large common areas. This, I'm told, is going to be a stage that flips down like a Murphy bed, which I can't wait to see. And they have a screen here on their drawing, and so we're going to need a nice audio visual system for in there. And then the one in the gym at the middle school is not working well, so we're going to need one there. For this whole building, we need 14 phones. We'll be able to pull over 7 from the existing building, so we got to buy 7 more phones. On to GHS. So we want to have some of that signage, the 65-inch flat panel displays. They'll be in the conference room and the vestibule again. That's there and there, the pink dots. 86-inch flat panels in our classrooms, our remodeled classrooms. So that is the culinary arts room, the 2 science rooms, the library, and this is the art room. This one is the staff room right here. And then demo stations, they apply, well, we said to science rooms, the culinary room and the art room. So that is all 3 of these and the art room down here. And lastly, the shop building at the high school. This little area is a district storage room. It's being turned into a weight room. So we're going to need again, this is E-rate in yellow. We're going to need a 24-port switch and a wall mount enclosure for that. We're going to need a UPS battery backup. We're going to need a phone in there. These 2 rooms already have phones. And then we're going to put wireless access points in all 3 of these. And then since these are areas where we've had some theft and it seems like they may want to investigate an accident or whatever, potentially I want to wire these for 2 cameras each. So at diagonal ends, so that we can cover a lot of the rooms. And then speaking of cameras, also included in the bond is a new surveillance system for the entire district. So that's all the schools plus the district office, FFA barn, and Pioneer Transportation Facility. So that was a lot and really fast. Do you have any questions? Or do you want me to go back?
You can start again, please.
Go slow.
So the bond is gonna cover this, or how much are we gonna have to cover on the total?
I thought you might ask that. So this is the total. So E-rates, we have 61,500 worth of E-rate stuff. They pay 90%. So our portion is 6150. All the other items for the classrooms that I mentioned, 201, and then the surveillance system 300. That's your grand total. Supposedly from the bond.
That's okay.
Yeah.
Because I was gonna say, I for the first time I was gonna be like, oh, I don't know,
Yeah.
because that's exactly the kind of thing that the community talks about.
Yeah.
But it is technology, and we have to get on top of it.
Yeah.
So it's
Technology,
just those-
safety, security.
Yeah,
Teaching
it's
tools.
just those decisions, but that was a lot. So
Yeah.
thank you.
Yeah.
Cool.
And really more than half of it is the safety and security, is that surveillance system. So.
Yes.
Tracy's that we talked yesterday about speakers, replacing all of the speakers in the high school because they're all different.
The classroom,
The intercom, yes.
Oh, yeah.
Is that part of that or?
that isn't included in this
Okay.
list, but it
We
could
will
be.
be.
Okay.
I think Julie took notes. She'll get to you.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you, Tracy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Exciting.
Yeah, it is.
Up next, we have custodial maintenance. Want to be in charge of your own screen, or do you want me to play your band?
You can,
I can do
yeah. We're gonna let you be in charge.
Something fine, I will. Oh, different. Something different.
So, in case you guys don't know it. So just an overview of our current operations. Our custodial crew is fully staffed right now, and they strive to maintain our clean buildings every day. We haven't been fully staffed for quite some time. So we do finally have a whole crew, and we're getting on board, and everybody seems to be finding their spot. So we've done a little move around this last year, and so that was kind of good because we were able to cross train people across the district so that if we need fill-ins, we can handle that, and they know what all the ins and outs of each of the buildings are. Highlights at the moment for our department are the new septic system at Pioneer. Everyone wants to hear about a septic system. New maintenance building, that's a big hoorah for us. Working with the bond crew on all the projects. We've been working really closely with the crew and helping make sure that we cover all of the things. And Gus has an incredible just institutional knowledge of our district. So being able to like know that's there, why is that there? That really is there for a reason, kind of thing. So that's absorbed a lot of his time. Had a couple of little flooding issues, thankfully not from the roof. And the one thing that I forgot to put up there was we had loss and prevention specialists come through, and we're working on minimizing all of those things that they brought to our attention. A couple of shout outs. Usually we have pages. We have a couple and hardly anything. And he said he really appreciated that the last couple of years we've worked really hard in all of his recommendations, cleaning up, taking care of things, long-term fixes, not short-term fixes. And he said he loves to walk into our CTE building because of our CTE teachers. And Lindsay's shop always gets a big hoorah. I love taking people in there the very last because then they remember that instead of like the last thing that they dinged us on. So that's a really good thing. So.
Okay, we're last May we have a little septic system in Pioneer, decided not to work anymore, so a little problem there. So we have it's already it took a while to get it fixed since it's been worked since October. We have because it damaged the bathrooms have been remodeled, and then starting so happy with that. And then also we keep up with the maintenance, clean the gutters, mold, and whatever maintenance needs to be there.
We were ready for winter last month, but we didn't see that. So our new maintenance building, that's been super fun. We actually have this only shows part of it because there was a mud puddle behind me and I didn't want to step any further to get into that. So we're working on the graveling area right there because of all of the construction trucks around there. If you want to go to the next slide. So it says move-in is in progress, but we are already moved in. We are good to go. We got new shelving in there, and we got industrial shelving. It's actually drilled into the floor. So we are really excited about being able to have everything where it should be, on shelving that it should be on. So that's pretty amazing. It's a larger workspace. So the guys have moved. We're starting to move things from other places to make sure that we're more centralized in where we're at. This shows the move-in progress, but it's totally organized now. They have little whiteboard labels that are magnetic now that hit on each of the supply racks, and it shows a minimum, maximum, and what the product is. So, and now our guys are, our custodians are not taking things from that building. They're sending, we have an order form, and it comes to our guys on Monday morning. They restock their closet, and then they base their order on that so that we make sure that all of our product is staying central and we're not wasting a lot of money on things that we've lost, can't find, or that somebody has stockpiled in their own closet. So that's pretty amazing. And it's also close to our other operations. So that's really nice. And it's with the chemical organization, it's really improved our safety as far as that goes. So, and it's also brought our equipment organization right there too. So when you need 500 chairs, we can get you 500 chairs pretty quick because they're all in one spot. So nice. This was our fun.
December 9, we start a new swimming classes. In the bike bar over there.
Nobody drowned. Nobody drowned.
Yeah. So yeah, it was you can see a lot of rain. So we're working with the city, to fix this.
So all that's from the drains, not.
That's not all that was there, but yes, that is all from the drain, and
Wow.
it flowed from there. Like you can see right here, this fence, it flows right down the fence. This is the sidewalk that goes along the main building and goes into the lower gym. And there was literally, you can't see it in my video, but it was a stream.
Wow.
And the city next summer they're planning to add more drain right in front of the cars are parking and the sidewalk. Because when they did the sidewalk, they only did a small drain. The water was so they're going to cut that and put a drain all across there.
Our meeting started a little rocky with the city to begin with, but once we got into it with Kyle, it was really impressive. Like that they're actually going to cut the whole sidewalk here all the way down, put a drain in. But then also the other thing that happened is that at GES, our gutters and our downspouts flow directly into the yard, which causes a little bit of a problem too. And so we were able to take a look at that with their engineer. And we had made some improvements on the bond side of that to be able to make some water injections within the ground, so that it's kind of a holding tank made out of rock covered in fabric, so that the dirt doesn't act like cement with the rocks, and it just kind of sits there without like being on top that goes down, and then it'll dissipate without having to cause any of these problems anymore. So hopefully by next year, this won't be a problem either in our building or on the sidewalk for anybody to walk.
So did the city kind of give us a date of when they thought that they would be fixing it?
They're planning in the summer. They don't have a specific date for planning in the summer.
It has to be in the new fiscal year, but they are hoping to do it along the same line that we are doing the front of the elementary school, so that they are done around the same time, so that it doesn't impede the parking or so. They haven't gotten us firm plans yet, so we'll see how that works. And so anyway, it was a really good conversation.
Financially, do we have like damage financially?
We have to make an insurance claim.
Yes.
How much is the damage right now?
Right now, we're a little over 20,000 without adding our man hours.
Well, more than that, yeah.
Yeah, well, but yeah, it's,
Went to the lower gym, bathroom, and
yeah. If you want to flip to the next slide, it'll show. So that right there is the garden. So this was flowing all into it, and that's where Dusty, was right in. Yeah.
So that's the bathroom and the corner, the FLC bathroom, and then the entryway. So that's where.
Not only financially, like this disrupted our class time. Like, I mean, like classes had to move around type of things too.
They just had to walk around it, but yes, no, the FLC was the major impact of that, and obviously that is not the classroom that we want to be impact. I mean, we don't want to impact any students, but those are the kids that we needed to keep down there. So that was a little bit of a rough spell. The guys were right on it. Like these pictures that we are taking, this is after almost like, what would you say, like 3 hours of flooding probably.
Yeah.
So, and you can see those, the pipes that are in there are because the guys got in there and put in, like, this is after it already drained.
Yeah.
But our problem is that there was a blockage in the city. So the guys were draining it. They put a sump pump in and they were draining it into our downspout drainage, but it was just going to the blocked part, so that it was just like we were recycling our own water at that point. So it was, once we met with them and we got to a solution with them, it went down pretty quick. But that was after about 5 hours of flooding.
So this happened during school?
It happened right before school.
Between school.
Like 6 a.m. Right?
6 a.m. When I got here,
When
6
you guys
a.m.
got here, that's when you guys saw the place.
When Gus got here.
Yeah, I got here 6 and I noticed that.
Yeah.
And then that's the day we shut down?
No,
This was the 9th. So that was the week before we shut school down for no power.
Yeah. Right. Yep. This was actually exactly 1 week prior.
So how does that work with, like, if the city doesn't do anything about that by the next time we come this season next year, and if it's happened again, how does that work with insurance? Like, we've gotten a claim, we've done a claim on that. How does that
Well,
work?
we can continue to make claims, but once we kind of get through all of this, we'll be submitting a bill to the city for our deductible.
Yeah.
And our man hours.
Yeah.
Because that doesn't figure in.
Yeah, into the insurance.
Yeah.
So you had all that water out for the kids to go through that little thing right there?
Where,
By the time the kids got to school?
No.
That's what I mean. So how do you get over there?
Well, you have to go around from
Swimming.
the
We were
gym.
swimming.
Yeah.
It was very truthful.
The lifeguard was out there. Didn't you see the last picture?
Yeah, no, it was kind of a rough day. Thankfully, like everybody kind of saw what was happening, and everybody was just like, okay, and they made it work. And everybody was really smooth about it. The city did, they hired somebody to come in and they cleaned their own pipes, which they found some blockage. As soon as they cleaned their own pipes, immediately, like, there's some other pictures that we have, like, there is it's not on there, but there's about 24 inches of water right where their culvert goes down in. And so, like, we couldn't even see it because it was so muddy. And so, like, so once they blasted out their own pipes, and you have to use water to blast out your blockage. So it added water in before it would pull it back out. So, but once they did, it went down fairly quickly, but it took a little bit of meeting of the minds. Danny had to make a phone call in order for us to even we were trying to get a hold of somebody to try to figure out what they're doing to help us. And so Danny made a phone call and it's, like I said, it started a little rocky, but we ended up okay at the end. So
When this issue started happening at 6 a.m. when Gus came to work and discovered it, I think I made that phone call around noon.
About 11, yeah.
Yeah, and had to get.
Yeah, so during that whole week, we rained that whole entire week, so we never had a problem after that.
No.
So we just had one. Wow.
The guys put in over to the left of Dusty right there. They actually dug, that's our lowest point. So the guys dug in and put a sump pump in, and it's still gated off right now, but they put a sump pump in a bucket, and so that and then the pipe stretches out and goes through back down through a downspout drainage, so that we left it there until we are sure that our issues are totally solved. So so the guys were like quick action on it, like. And actually, the day that the power went out, we made sure that we had electricity still flowing because it was raining really hard that day too. So the guys made sure that the sump pump stayed on because we didn't want any further damage.
Generator set up by generator, so make sure that was.
So
yeah, we have our staff over here. We have maintenance custodians. Like Julie was saying, we are full staff now. There was a few months that we were like very short staff, it was hard to find substitutes, and so now we full staff. We have more better coverage of the buildings, for cleaning and painting.
Yeah. So coming up, we have Blockhouse Septic, which is everybody loves to talk about septic. So we have some issues out there that we're working on, and we're going to be figuring that out. We're working on permanent parking for the food truck. And the reason why I put this picture in there is because the guys designed the buildings specifically so that there's a space between them. We're going to be adding some trusses in there and some roofing and a fence toward the back. And then the food truck is going to slide underneath there, and it'll be covered at all times. Also, there's electrical off to the right-hand side there. And so it will be able to be plugged in when needed so that she can go in there and prep and do what she needs to. And her refrigeration will be on at all times.
So it's secure, preventive from any vandals,
Which we've been concerned about, And then we're going to finish and repair, organize on the current shop. So we've been working on that. You guys know that you constantly see things that you're discharging because we're like trying to make sure that we're making good use and making sure that we're only keeping what we need. So that is still happening, and then we're working on the drainage issues. So any questions?
Also, I want to add to that I'm really grateful now that we don't we have new roofs in the buildings. We don't have to.
One less thing.
So we have
less thing.
we got extra bucket.
Yeah,
So
and free
you
different
guys
buckets.
can express to get some. So we have to.
Sign every one of them.
That's where we got the buckets for the sump pumps. So we were thankful that they were available.
That's so funny.
Anyways, so thank you guys for all you do, and thank you for being in support of us and handling the work that we're with.
Thanks, great work.
Yeah, exactly.
Last presentation along tonight, although you have more to go after me. Well, what I'll have you do is turn to page 86. I gave a little, on the first page of my board report, I kind of explained, we always look at this graphic each month. And, we see it gradually increase in the different categories, but it's just kind of like I thought I would tell you what that means. I mean, for December compared to back in 22-23 to 25-26, our salaries have risen by about $524,000. Payroll cost by about $357,000. That's the orange section. And the green section is our purchase services, and that's gone up by about $208,000. The other ones are fairly insignificant. The pink section are transfers, and we're kind of holding back on transfers until we're sure we need to do the transfers. We'd like to not have to do them if we do not have to do them. So we kind of wait a little longer to make sure those have to happen. So that was just a little explanation of what you were seeing in that, because I always present this in just a very quick graphic way, and I just thought I would put a few numbers to it for this particular month. And then on page 85, I've highlighted in yellow what is now the projection of the ending fund balance, which is 1.185 million, I guess 1.185. And that would be, if we ended at that, it would be about a 7.85% ending fund balance. We budgeted at 7.5. We're continuing to watch this against two different models, and the other model is lining up very closely to this one as well.
So I have a question on that.
Yeah.
So looking at your December one, it was higher, it was at 8.09.
Right.
And then this month it's lower. Is it going to continue to change month by month?
It
or are we
will.
kind of at
It won't ever be like just static. It will kind of do this because it's putting in a projection. It kind of sees what happened. What do we anticipate was going to happen at this point? Did something more happen or less happen? And so it will continue to be a fluctuating point. And so by doing the two different models for it, we get a look at different categories of it. So this, looking at it this way, they're looking historically back 5 years, what happened in the past 5 years on all these different areas. You know, they look at everything in that way. And then what's your budget? And so what have you spent to date? And so that's what this model looks at. Whereas the other model, we look at prior year, we look at current year, we look at encumbrances that we have out, we look at different things. And so we're still putting comparison to those numbers, but they're more in our current year and what we know is going on this year. So that's why it's good to look at both of those. You know, this has always been the model that we've used, but it's good to look at that other model as well to just kind of make sure that we're not missing something when we look at this projection.
So, I mean, are you looking ahead? Are you thinking it's just going to be very small up and down?
Yes.
Or is there a possibility that we're going to go
No, I don't.
down?
No, I don't want a big up and down. I want it to keep it small and tight within this. So I feel like, and we're also going into this model too and making sure that what this is projecting makes sense with what's going on for the year as well. So I'm working with the frontline people on a monthly basis. We sit down and we talk about this and kind of say, well, I don't think we need to forecast that high or that low because of this that we know is going on.
So, I mean, on given any point in time, that ending fund balance, you would expect it to fluctuate, but you're saying it's going to be less than 1%, so it's not like
I don't expect it to fluctuate a lot.
Exactly. So
Right.
I mean, if it fluctuates within 1%, you're probably okay.
Right.
So you'll remember the exercise that Karen and I did, I think it was in end of October, November.
Yeah.
Where we went through like 1,300 different line items. Like, oh, they haven't, this is encumbered, but they haven't spent anything. Why? I took part of the money. I'm going to do it again. When we get into March or, end of February, as we get ready for budgeting, I'm going to do the same exercise to see where we're at now, 3 months later, and if people still haven't spent their money.
Spend their money.
Well,
What was their end result last time? What was the end result last time when you did that and you took that? What was the total?
It was
we took quite a bit off of things that were
several $100,000.
That's before, right? I mean, that was before the budget. So you were looking at, you were taking.
No, this was
recently.
This was in real time. Because it had gone so low, and so we really looked at what is going on here with it. And there are pockets where we kind of budget because we don't know what's going to happen each year. Right. And one of those I talked about last time was special education. We don't know the students we're going to get and what those needs are going to be. And so those are big pockets, you know, but there's other ones that are smaller, you know, 10, 20,000, but you know, those are the big ones.
We won't be able to go through and find another, you know, $500,000.
Right. No.
But yeah. Well, imagine. Just add water. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and I think that was it. All I wanted to go over. I'm going to be short and sweet, unless you have any questions. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, my board report, I just wanted to highlight the $100,000 that we got in private donation. For our work with Willamette Career Academy and being champions, that partnership has paid off. I had an additional meeting with the Epping Foundation on Tuesday. And they are interested in helping us start a satellite project here in Jervis as part of the next phase of the Willamette Career Academy. So the kind of head networking guy, Salam Noor, is meeting with Joe Morlock at the Willamette ESD, and I saw Joe today. And so there's several satellite stations that Joe has been trying to get up and going, but we're going to try and do one here in Jervis, and we're not sure exactly what that might be. Maybe something HVAC electrical. But that's happening because of the relationship that we've established. So I'm pretty excited about that.
Do we have a?
Oh, he built it.
Oh, they built it.
Oh, we just take over that property. He would build it.
On campus?
Build it where we run it to be built.
Within the environmental hazard.
Yeah.
And actually, and I have for like, I mean, okay, I only worked on one at one point in time in my life, and they had to literally, it was environmental, and I don't know if it was like 10 inches of concrete, whatever.
It's but I think that you know, it would be the size of a shop, right? So we could put up a whole building somewhere in one of our field areas out there. So, and the idea is that we would invite other schools to participate, just like the Willamette Career Academy. So, totally. So I'm really excited about that opportunity.
That's great.
Yes. Good stuff there. And then I have bond stuff. We'll talk about that later. So I guess you're on the board focus. Okay. I got to the book. Can you take it about it, right?
Yes, that would be.
I need to have one too.
I was like.
How was Hawaii?
It was lovely.
Good weather? All the time?
There was one day that it rained.
Which is good. Oh, I don't mind that.
It's fine.
It's like,
you can still walk around in your shorts and t-shirts.
To go on vacation. I'm so jealous. My sister went to Palm Springs. Now she's off on some freaking cool trip. I'm like, I just want to go somewhere warm. Right now.
well, good. I'm glad you guys were able
But
to.
I had
keep the whole family,
We did.
Yeah.
We took 3 of the 4 kids, and then they had their significant others, and they stayed a week, and then we sent them home. And they did not stay with us. They stayed in their own condo away from us.
Good. That's what we want.
And then it was just my husband and I, my mom and dad in separate condos, and it was great.
It was perfect.
Yeah.
That's really nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I felt all the tension from my neck going out. Wow.
Then he came back right about 2 days before you had to leave.
Yeah, no, actually he hasn't yet.
Oh, good. Oh, it really worked. Oh, very good. That's me. I'm always stressing the last few days of it. It's almost over.
Yeah, I try not to think that way because then it just tortures.
I know, but my brain doesn't work that way, I guess.
Okay. Good. Yeah.
Oh, we're rolling along here nicely.
Yes. Nothing.
They learn how to use the regular macaroon.
we can't help it.
Who of us doesn't?
Mine is awful. Usually done by now. No.
Sorry, not my word. That's okay. Didn't a lot of stuff done. And we're putting 2 meetings.
Two meetings, well, like three, working session, December and January.
Yeah, that's right.
I was pretty grateful though. I had read pretty much all this before.
Oh, right, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Of course, the electricity comes right back on right when you decide. That day, I had like 4 meetings that day.
Oh,
really?
Uh-huh. And my husband, he hooked up the generator to the Wi-Fi to, all my stuff, my computer. And I was like, yeah, it was crazy. And I realized, I'm like, okay, this year is the year that we're gonna put in this generator.
Yeah,
put it there.
it's technically international. Yeah.
Because it's going out way too much. I work
Yeah.
from home and I have those kind of
Yeah,
calls.
you can't be in your car in a hot spot with a laptop.
No,
Like I did.
no.
We did that from the last time we had this, so I put in a whole generator.
Yeah.
in there.
Yeah.
Oh, it's just
So
plug
we'll
in
be,
and
we'll
runs
be
the
doing
whole
that
house.
this year. Is that expensive?
No, well, the electrical part of it was
Yeah.
cheap. That was the most, but I was doing some other work. I had new boxes put in, so I had hope that while they were doing that, I just had them run the line for the generator outside. And the generator was that was least expensive, about $800. My thing was that I bought it 3 years ago, and it sat in the garage for that long. I not did a dang thing to it. I would have been smart to, hey, maybe give it a try. Just learn what you're supposed to do before you actually have to do it. Yeah, exactly. But it fired right up. It was perfect. It really was. The whole house, you could use everything that was in the house. The most important part was water.
Right.
I don't have a well.
Yeah.
I have a well, so no water, no electricity, no water.
Okay,
Let's go.
back to consent items.
There's a separate paper here in your table.
All right. Range of the motion?
Yeah.
Move to school district number 1 board of directors approve consent items listed in NAS 7.1, 7.2, 7.3, and 7.4.
We have a motion, we have a second?
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
All right.
I didn't mind. Perfect.
Action items.
Oh, action item.
Yep. So the first one, our policy second reading, and that starts on page 100. For the two policies and 2 ARs.
So, are you ready for the motion? I move to school district number 1 board of directors approve the changes to policy CPA-AR GCBD /DBE JFCEB.
Actually, before we get go on that one, I do want to talk about the personal electronic device.
All right.
Okay.
Just stop them.
Yeah. Or is it the personal? It's one of those.
Was that the second reading on this?
Yeah, that was.
I have a couple questions on this.
Go ahead.
Okay, so the first sentence up here, it says, we need to fix that. It says, electronic devices may also be used during other school-sponsored events such as extracurricular field trips as permitted, and then do by the district or by district employee. Did you see that?
What page are you on first?
106.
Okay, so are you saying students use of the person prohibited from the start of regular institutional hours until the end of regular institutional hours as provided below? You said the first paragraph, right?
First paragraph is student use, and it's in the last sentence.
Oh,
it needs to be fixed.
Okay,
on that one.
Now I know where you're at now.
You see it?
It says may also be used during other school-sponsored events such as extracurricular or field trips as permitted by district employees in charge of student supervision.
That sounds weird to me. I didn't, yeah. It's permitted by the district employee in charge of the student supervision.
You could, field trips as permitted by the district and district employees in charge of student supervision.
Yeah, I mean, like, that just read easier.
Okay.
And then down after like the bullets, 1, 2, or the figures 1, 2, and 3, on that one, it has personal electronic devices may be stored on the student's person, but may not be used during regular instructional hours. Alternative storage will be provided for students. So like, I don't feel like they should be running around with it. Like the storage is in the high school and it should be stored, period.
Yeah, I mean, and that's the thing, is the contradict this part here from my perspective. It says students use of personal electronic devices is prohibited from the start of regular institution hours until the end of regular institution hours.
So, like, for me, what it's saying is they're not supposed to be using it, but whether they keep it in their pocket, their backpack, or the thing, that's up to them.
I think that's absolutely not okay.
So
I don't necessarily agree with that.
Yeah.
You know, I'm obviously in a school and we do have kids who have it in their pockets. You know, it becomes an issue when we see it.
Yeah, and I would like to see, if that's the case, and that's the way you guys want to run it, then you need to actually go through the steps of seeing the kid and taking the steps that you have on here, which I can assure you, I have talked to many, many parents who are saying to me, they are not implementing the phone issue with the high schoolers. I still get my kids calling me during the day. I've seen it, blah, blah, blah. And so what I'm saying to you is that's the communication that I'm getting from our community members and our parents. And that bothers me. You know why middle school is doing so good? Because they had a pilot project taking the freaking phones out. And it needs to be implemented, period. I mean, like, yeah, after they're done and they're in basketball or whatever it is, whatever club, sport, whatever, yeah, they have it back and that's fine. But like, we've been babysitting these kids. Like, there are no real consequences. And we got to move beyond that, period.
So I'm asking if you would consider to allow Dusty to tackle this for the next, like, until spring break. I think maybe with the change in leadership, you're going to see there's already been some improvements in terms of rule enforcement. Hoodies, earbuds, tardies to class, kids not roaming the halls.
Yeah.
So I could let him know that, and the building staff, that the board is giving them until spring break.
I mean, yeah, like yes, that's great. Okay. I mean, like, you know that I've been bringing this up almost every single meeting.
But
they're not taking care of it, and we should have something. If those teachers aren't doing it, there has to be consequences for them too. Like, there's no like real
follow through.
Yeah,
has to be follow through.
Okay.
And unfortunately, I just feel like that's part of what's been happening, you know, in the school system. So I just think we'd be much better off not having that at all.
Would the board be willing to consider adopting the policy with the caveat that Dusty and Doug will address it at the February board meeting, and then they also would understand that you may be readdressing a revision to the policy in March for implementation after spring break?
Yes, and it would be good for us to also know when they're doing their overviews, their monthly overviews, that you can tell us how many kiddos. There was 3 kiddos that had the first step of the, you know, consequences or whatever. And the same thing for like absenteeism. The reason I like Tony's report so much is because it's short and it's to the point, and it has the most important things. Like today when she was showing us part of the curriculum for race and the actual examples of what they're getting. that is the most helpful to me.
Mhm.
Like I get like, yay, they went to Bullwinkle's or
Yeah.
wherever it might be, and that's super fun. And these are the tactics that we're trying right now. But to be completely honest, I want to know what's being taught every month. I would like, and it would be easier for them too.
Yeah.
Like they don't need to like continually repeat. I just took 18 different status reports and have moved them into like one at my work, all on the highlight news. And I reduced the categories that they were doing from like 7 to 4. And now it's so much easier. And I think almost like that's what all the admins need to be doing, is having like a similar template that they're all using that has like those specific categories, and it'll be super easy for them and super easy for us.
Yep.
Okay. Anyway, those are just, that should have been in discussion. So I'd like to wait on that one, if that was an action item.
Well,
on the addendum one.
no, I know, but the addendum one, the personal electronic devices, you want to wait on that one? Is that what you're saying?
I thought that's what we were gonna fix.
No, I think I thought what Dandy said was, let's go ahead and approve it at this point in time, and
And
then
then
we
revisit it.
would amend, and then if we need to, we will amend it in March.
Okay,
after
but
spring
can you at least fix that one paragraph, that one
Yeah,
up there?
field trips as permitted by the district and district employees in charge of.
And then we can just make that little down here, just that
So when their
little,
personal electronic devices might be stored on a person.
To look at
Is
that,
where we're
yeah.
gonna be evaluating
Yeah.
that.
but again, this is only my opinion, you know, the board also, the rest of the board also, you know, has say. So whatever you guys wanna, or whatever.
I'd like to hear feedback from the staff,
Yes. that's
you know,
my thing.
who,
How-
how many are you really
Yes.
dealing with when you're feeling like that's happening?
Correct.
Are there specific reasons? You know, we have so many 504s, we have so many IEPs, and some of them do include that type of stuff for anxiety and whatnot. So, I would just be curious to see how often they really struggle with that. That they feel like the kids are pulling them out and using them when they're not supposed to, or whether they feel like, for the most part, they're tucked away.
Because what we've heard from leadership that comes in, it's been pretty good as far as what they were saying. They, you know, they don't have the phones or things. They're talking more to each other and things there. So I would like to know, I'm agreeing with you. I just want to know, how prevalent is this? Is this something that's happening every single supplementary day? Is it just one out of 100? What is it?
I would imagine too that it's a particular class. You know what I mean? Like there's a teacher that doesn't clomp down on it as much or whatever. But yeah, I don't know. I can only tell you what I get from people who come and talk to me about the school stuff. And I'm not involved as much as anymore. So I don't have I don't have a pipeline. Like this is really the only opportunity for me to bring you what is being said. So anyway,
Conversation that's being done.
Yeah, that's perfect. Thank you.
I feel like, I mean, I'm not trying to make excuses, but I also feel like this is a year of a little bit of grace. We've gone from one extreme to another of kids constantly on electronic devices to completely taking them away.
We haven't. Technically, they were supposed to have those phones out of the school last year in the high school. That was a
Yes,
request.
last year was.
It was requested
Remember,
last
we
year.
put the,
Yeah.
they were gonna put the little things
They
in the
put the boxes
classrooms
in.
and stuff there.
Yeah.
And then
So
this is
this
second
is
year,
the
so
second
third year for middle school.
Correct.
And
This is
then
the
so
second.
this is our second, this started this school year, second year. But the last year because they were just going from room to room, remember? So they had them on their person, but they were supposed to put them
They
in
were
the little
supposed to put in the
boxes.
boxes, yes.
In everyone, and this year was nothing. And then we're
Correct.
supposed to have them on there.
Correct.
So, yeah, okay, I remember it correctly.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
All right, so I'm not gonna read it all over. Thanks a lot. I just almost got to the end too. I moved to German School District number 1 board of directors. Approve the changes to policies CPA-AR, VCB,
No.
CPA-
No, I mean, the only change is only to the one. The personal electronic devices.
We're not doing anything on it.
She's making a quick edit, like the
Yeah,
first
we're adding a
edit of the paragraph of boarding,
I know
but that's the
what-
only one that's making changes.
I didn't say it. Did I say it was gonna charge? Did I say something incorrectly? I approved the changes to policy CPA-AR. And then we're gonna make some revisions to GCBD/G DBD, correct? Or no, that's not that one, that's the next one.
Personal electronic.
Yeah, so the J, and then now we're gonna make some revisions or just changes to wording on JFCEB, JFCEBAR, as shown in action items 12-25-8.1. Well, that was tough. Okay.
We have a motion. Do we have a second? I'll second the motion. All in favor?
Aye.
Hey, we're on to the Student Success Act and the SIA agreement, which I can never seem to just put to bed. So the board has to now see the actual language of the grant agreement as executed by the Oregon Department of Education and agree that you've been fully informed as to what we're spending the money on, which is what I presented back in August. And that, as this document outlines, we promise to spend the money the way it's been intended.
It was a fine read, by the way.
Yeah, that was.
Oh, it was hard.
That one, I was like, are you an attorney too?
No, I don't know.
It really wasn't.
All right. Ready for the motion?
Ready for the motion?
Okay, move Jervis School District number 1 Board of Directors approve the integrated land grant agreement as shown in the board packet.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Okay.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, your next action item is 8.3, approval of an increase in the transfer number. So you'll recall last spring we set the transfer number at 130. Well, we have like 145. So just so that we're compliant, I want to put that number a little higher. And it fluctuates, like it's gonna fluctuate back and forth as we get to the semester. So let's go with 150 and that should cover it for the rest of the year.
145 was moved out. We brought in 145 kids.
Yeah, and we've only lost like 20 some. So we're net positive.
Yeah. Move Jervis School District number 1 Board of Directors approve the student transfer numbers from 130 to 150.
A motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, now you're on to page 141 and the election position 11. So you'll recall in your meeting in November that
Yes, this gentleman right here.
he came and spoke to you. It's now a runoff.
Oh.
So it's between this gentleman that came and presented to you and the woman Karina.
Didn't feel like I could really tell from both of them. Do you know what I mean? It's so hard to make choices from reading one page like that. But he seems very into it.
Yeah, he does.
So-
You broke the rule though, but you was supposed to only do 50 words per question.
And he did call again. He was.
Okay.
Yeah,
He really wants it. I was saying, hey, I don't, other than what I read here. So
Yeah.
Thoughts, board members?
my vote is for the gentleman who came on television.
They're both in the same district.
Yeah, it wasn't our.
Okay, I have no
Right.
problem with that.
Somebody want to make a motion?
Yeah, but I'm not, I don't know how to say his name.
Sure. Yeah.
Let's try our best.
The doctor, did I just say the doctor?
Says, so he goes by Sate.
Okay, perfect.
And Chandriga. Shan.
Sate, Sandy,
Yeah.
Sandy girl.
That's right.
Okay.
Okay, I move Jervis School District Board of Directors nominate Sate Chandagria, MD for the OSB Board of Directors position 11.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
Okay, on to bond update. So our bond advisory committee meeting for last night, right? Yeah, last night was canceled because there wasn't really much to talk about or anything. other than to just share that we still didn't have the permit. And I didn't feel like we really wanted to call a group of people together to just
Yeah.
share.
It's just that frustration.
Yeah, and so, in the packet, you're gonna see that our numbers are coming in under budget. Like, people are hungry for work, so all of the subcontractors are coming in either at or lower than what we budgeted, so that's great news. The next largest ticket item to go out to bid will be all of the high school work, which goes out the first part of February. And then it closes at the end of February, so we'll know by the first part of March where those numbers are coming in at. And that'll give us a really solid foundation for where we're at on all of these projects. So unfortunately, because of all of the problems with getting the middle school permit, we have missed the window for a fall opening for that building.
I was gonna say, how far are we behind?
The new target is to have the building done by the end of October so that they can turn it over to us in November so that it can be cleaned and, you know, we can move in and get it ready. I've talked to Tony a little bit about, okay, well, what would the grand opening look like? We're not going to put any effort into that right now because we'll plan something and sure enough, we're going to miss that end of October deadline. And so, you know, to be safe, I think we're going for January 12th, that Monday. So everybody comes back, you know, that Monday, the teachers are back on the Monday after New Year, kids come in on Tuesday, it's early release Wednesday. So we're thinking that first full week, that will be tours, celebration. It's really going to be really hard to ask the teachers to be moving their classrooms during that time.
And where can we move?
Well, the science teachers will need to move, the library has to move, and the main office has to move. So we will still do the classroom remodels in the current modular section, except for where our current office is. We won't remodel that until after we move the office. And we have a couple of extra classrooms, so we'll be able to make it work and not impact kids or teachers. Like the library will be closed, there will be no library for about 3 months because that'll be a regular classroom. So I mean, it is what it is. There's nothing that we can do about it. No. But I want to share my frustration. So Tony, last Thursday, Tony Johnson went to the city council meeting and during public comment just said, like, please approve the permit. If you're impacting kids, you're impacting the community. Mm-hmm. And the city manager, the mayor asked the city manager, do you have the permits? And he said he did not. And so while technically that's the truth because they're electronic and they were not sitting on his desk, there's a string of emails that goes back and forth that shows, I don't know if it's confusion, a lack of understanding, or just deliberate. But the final kind of tipping point came on Monday when the architect got feedback back from the county on 3 more things they needed to do that were not part of any, like they submitted these permits in October. Why can't you just have a checklist?
Yeah.
Why are you continuing to say, oh, and then there's one more thing. Oh, and then there's one more thing. And so the county agreed that if the architects would write a letter of intent to comply, which is what we tried to get the city to do with the sidewalk. They said, and Gordon, the city's architect or engineer, said that would be sufficient to get the permits released. Rick was refusing to do that. And so I finally called the mayor and I said, we have missed the fall deadline. You are putting the project in jeopardy in terms of financials. I don't know what is the problem. But when you have experts, architects, project managers, and construction companies saying they've never seen anything like this, you must believe them. We cannot believe people who don't do this for a living. And so miraculously, 3 hours later, things started to flow. And so in theory, we should be getting the permits tomorrow.
How many more permits do we have to go for? Like,
We still
throughout
have to
this
get
bond?
we still have to get you've submitted the elementary school permits. Those should be finalized within a couple of weeks. The high school permits were just submitted. Those should be done by March. But I mean, here's the thing, like the digital reader boards, the first email that we started exchanging with the city about those was March 17th of last year. And we still do not have the permits. And so, it's very frustrating. It's beyond frustrating. It's, a complete lack of commitment by the city to ensure that their citizens, that their constituents are getting what they voted for.
Yeah.
Well, the city manager, they don't vote for you, they hire him, so, and that's on the council. So. But that council's all brand new, they didn't even get to hire them. I mean, that's not their, that was just. Well, like you said, there's nothing we can do about it, other than try to make the best of what we have. Try to move forward.
I don't want to be too aggressive with my displeasure at this moment in time because I still need to get the permits approved. But once that's done.
Yeah, that makes sense. It's a whole different story.
Then after everything, then we have to get final, right? At the very end is when, that's when all that, and at that point, that's when we'll have the responsibility of the sidewalk thing.
Well, that's when we have to give them the money.
Right, exactly, yeah.
And you know, the things that they were talking about that were the new 3 things that need to be done. One was, you know, mapping out where the fire hydrants are going to be. Well, they're on the plan.
Can you read?
They're right there.
Well, it's not like we're putting together the plans. Hello, the experts putting together the plans.
So it's, I'm lost for words.
I know, I mean, it's just.
Obviously, no school staff was disappointed. Tony told them yesterday. I mean, they knew, you know, when you look out there and there's nothing, you know, it's not going to happen. And so I'll send out an email to all staff tomorrow, just giving them the update. I mean, I'm hoping that by tomorrow morning we'll have the permits, so I can say, yay, we have the permits, now we're ready to go.
Has there been much rumbling in the community about like not seeing a lot of action happening?
Well, they are very curious. And they were more.
Here's the funny thing. So I'm going by and I see Lentel's car out because he got a new car. And so I see his car, Rob told me about it and things like that. So I pull over and they're just standing out there. Lentel didn't know who I was. He's lost. He doesn't know who he's kind of, his mind is, I think it's going more. I think it's pretty much gone. But Rob said, hey, by the way, what are you guys doing at the middle school? I said, Rob, we're building a whole new school. I said, oh, well, that's good to know. I didn't even know that. And so now I can tell everybody. Everybody's been asking me, what are you guys doing at the middle school? It's like,
oh my word. Oh my word. Oh my word.
I'm thinking, I thought he was more of a plugged in guy. Obviously not, right? They're just on theories and whatever their brains think of.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Doesn't he remember coming to the church?
Find us, yeah.
I have no idea what to.
Yeah, at a loss.
Good job, buddy.
Which I don't find myself with
Yeah.
very often, but yes.
Yeah. But anyway, I thought it was just a kind of a funny interaction and things. Well, it was good to see you.
Well, they're very, but the thing they're curious is how do we get a turf field? That's what they all want to know, and if it was coming out of the bond.
Oh,
That's
yeah,
community. And we're just like, it's taken care of, you don't worry. You know, fine.
There was
Did they not read their sign in big red letters that said not bond funded?
I guess it's people don't pay attention. Like,
They just like.
you know what I mean?
I have to criticize them. Yeah.
And I'm tired of saying the same thing over and over
I
again.
just tell them somebody, very
To the
nice
same
person
person.
did some very in-kind things for us and it's not coming out of our bond. And it kind of put some pressure on them, saying, oh, wait a minute, you mean people actually get money for that?
All right, well, that's, it is what it is.
Yes.
Okay, you have a policy first reading. It's just an AR for Okay, so policy KL is our public complaint policy. There has to be a mechanism for the public to continue to complain if they're not satisfied with how you resolve the complaint. So this AR allows them to go to the deputy superintendent. State Board of Education. So that'll be up for adoption next meeting. And then you have it's a very rough school calendar for next year. So, you know, if it were a different summer, I would be pushing for us to start before Labor Day because we're going to get out until, you know, June 16th, and hopefully there's no snowpocalypse. But because of all the construction, I just don't think I don't think we risk it. So.
Although, I mean, that's not.
It's not
too
that
far
bad.
off of
Not
what,
that
I mean,
bad.
we usually are, so.
Yeah. It's about 4 days.
Okay. All right, okay. This meeting is adjourned.
Yay. Thank you all.
Yeah, right?
And thank you for all these wonderful treats.
Welcome.
For dinner.